integration, civil rights issue, are all nothing but tools used by the whites who call themselves liberals against another group of whites who call themselves conservatives, either to get into power or to retain power. Among whites here in America, the political teams are no longer divided into Democrats and Republicans. The whites who are now struggling for control of the American political throne are divided into liberal and conservative camps. The white liberals from both parties cross party lines to work together toward the same goal. And white conservatives from both parties do likewise. The white liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way. The liberal is more deceitful, more hypocritical than the conservative. Both want power, but the white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the Negro's friend and benefactor. And by winning the friendship and support of the Negro, the white liberal is able to use the Negro as a pawn or a weapon in this political football game that is constantly raging between the white liberals and the white conservatives.
I think it makes us question whether segregation itself was really the cause of the feeling of inferiority in black children and in black people, as we thought. It'll make us question also what I think was a naive belief, that if we integrated with the whites, somehow they would stop seeing us as people of color or as black people. If we integrated with the whites, somehow the world would stop dividing itself up in terms of race, that somehow the world's division of itself in terms of African people and European people, black people and white people and so forth would somehow end. I think this study clearly implies then that this is not the case. I think it implies on a deeper level that inferiority in black people is a political and social necessity. I often, in speaking to my colleagues and others who are interested in psychology, and of course in the current book that I'm trying to develop now, get across the idea of how black psychology differs, particularly black psychology at this time, differs from Eurocentric psychology. And I think one of the major ways that it differs from Eurocentric psychology is that when we talk about abnormality in the black personality, when we talk about feelings of inferiority in black people, feelings of self-hatred and self-alienation, feelings of incompetence, feelings of powerlessness and so forth that we hear a lot about, we must recognize that these feelings are a political and economic necessity. And we should start from that premise if we are to understand the psychology of black people. I often put it this way. In order for us to be in the state that we are in today as people, we have to be out of our minds. We literally have to be crazy. It is necessary for us to be crazy. It is necessary for us to be backwards. It is necessary for us to be maladjusted. It is necessary for us to be disunited. It is necessary for us to be self-hating. It is necessary for us to be filled with an inferiority complex. In a world where the European is essentially about 10% of the world's population, if that 10% is to continue to rule over the other 90%, it must keep that 90% out of its mind. It must keep that 90% in a state of deception. It must keep that 90% filled with a feeling of powerlessness and incompetence. If this 10% is to continue to consume more than 60% of the world's resources, if this 10% is to continue to rob African, Asian, and other nations of their material wealth, then it must keep those people in a state of maladjustment.
What is good, my people? We are live back again with another live broadcast on the forecast. Now, I want to come on here and talk about something because y'all know how I am with the things that keep us as slaves, and then the such low self-esteem that we have. You know what I'm saying? And we think that we have like white allies or allies, period. But I think that we're gonna learn over and over. And it was something that I wanted to show a while ago, but I've finally been able to. So like, if I understand, if what I'm saying, you don't want to listen to it, but at the end of the day, this is something that I think that, and y'all know that I talk all the time about this, the John Brown complex, I call it. You know what I'm saying? Where we need this savior to come in and save us, and we think everything is going to save us. You know what I'm saying? But you know, so let me get into it. And another thing, especially with the quote unquote abolitionists, because I'm always on their neck, because we seem to be like, oh, well, this person was this, and this was this white abolitionist, and I want you to see how quickly it goes from, what I'm saying, quote unquote allied to white nationalists, and that's anywhere that you go, what I'm saying, because I don't understand why we still think we can trust them or do any of these other things, and that's like foreign or local, what I'm saying, and like I don't understand, you know. But I'm gonna start with this one.
Mex speaking on.
Oh yeah, because I talked about a little bit like about this before with Cornell West, and I was showing that. But this brother made some really good points about the quote unquote white allies, or the liberal,
How dangerous the white liberal is to the black American. But what Malcolm X could have never foreseen coming on the horizon was the rise of the white progressive. Now, what separates the white progressive from the traditional white liberal, as Malcolm X knew them to be, is that the white progressive will actually parrot the talking points of black radicals of the past while aligning themselves and or sympathizing with so-called black radicals of the present as it pertains to praising, quoting, and carrying on about black leaders of the past. With white liberals, the buck stops with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Whereas with white progressives, they'll often quote Fred Hampton, and they'll even go as far as to even champion the Black Liberation Army. But where
now you see, like, now they would all use people like Martin Luther King, this not whatever, and use his name in vain in a disrespectful way. You know what I'm saying? But those good old ones that I'm telling you, it's just because they've been so dangerous throughout history, and we continue to be like, oh, you were invited for the cookout, you know how to play the saxophone, you know what I'm saying? You're the first black president. You feel me?
where the white liberal and the progressive have something in common is that if you, being black, choose to follow behind them due to the false sense of camaraderie, you'll soon find that you're on a fool's errand. Because though they may pretend to love Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and the Black Panther Party, they despise the people who they were originally fighting for. For the liberal and the progressive, piggybacking off of the history, pain, and struggle of Black America is simply a means to an end in order to push forward their own political agendas. Issue. It's a people of color and marginalized group issue. And the white progressive will attempt to convince you that this isn't an issue of race, but it's a class issue. It's not about racism, it's about classism. But
And see, like, and that's the thing, we look for all kind of reasons why we don't want to face the truth about what all of this has been about, this war that has been waged against us. We'll be like, oh, the poor people. Well, the poorer people have been the ones who did the physical violence to you. You know what I'm saying? They were the ones doing the lynching and all of that stuff, you know. But like I said, like, because, oh, I forgot, you know, then you have like Abraham Lincoln. People bring up, oh yeah, he was, I guess he would be the first quote unquote black president, you know what I'm saying? And Joe Biden would be like the fourth, you know. But anyway, you know, like we always idolize, even when that, like, you know, there was reports of black people, like, you know, worshiping Abraham Lincoln when he walked through Richmond, Virginia, you know, because we always had this savior complex, you know what I'm saying?
What's even more interesting is that, to the credit of the white liberal, they actually do a very good job talking around black issues, whereas the white progressive will become visibly upset when having to address black issues. Now, what I want you to do is watch a few of these clips here of Bernie Sanders, a so-called progressive, and watch how he becomes visibly upset when asked about reparations.
Now, keep that in mind. Like, when they talk about, they use black people stuff, but when we start talking about black people specifically, because I know a lot of black people, oh, Bernie Sanders this and Bernie Sanders that, as if, you know, he isn't just another one of them. That'll probably make everything worse, you know. But when we start talking about black people and the things to solve our issues, you know what I'm saying? Like, none of these people who have been invited to the cookout and, you know, drinking with us and sitting there talking with us, none of them give a damn about us. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people love this dude, but you talk about black stuff and you're like, oh, hold on now. You know, we can't talk about black people. It's everybody.
He becomes visibly upset when asked about reparations for Black American descendants of slavery. During his 2020 presidential run, whenever Bernie Sanders was addressed with reparations, he would become visibly upset and would proceed to say, well, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Well, what do you mean by that? In an extremely condescending tone.
Your position. Oh, my bad.
Reparations. I asked the question because Elizabeth Warren, Julian Castro, they've indicated they want.
What does
to
that mean? What do they mean? I'm not sure that anyone's very clear. What I've just said is that I think we must do everything that we can to address the massive level of disparity that exists in this country.
I'll tell you what they mean, because Elizabeth Warren has said black families have had a much steeper hill to climb. We need systematic structural changes to address that. Julian Castro has said, I have long thought that this country would be better off if we did find a way to do that, reparations.
Well, I agree with what Elizabeth said.
So you would support reparations?
But read what she said. What does that mean? She means, I think, I don't want to put words into her mouth, is what I said.
Why not support reparations then?
What do you mean by reparations?
By reparations for slave defendants.
I know, but what does that mean exactly?
Money.
Now, isn't Bernie Sanders a progressive? So then why is he so mad? Well, that's because these people really can't stand you. And what's happening now is that we're starting to see a pattern of white progressives becoming visibly upset when having to confront black issues of racism, white supremacy. And make no mistake, when you're talking about the legacy of white supremacy in America, you're talking about anti-black racism. Now, here's a question for you all. Have you ever seen a liberal talking to a majority Hispanic crowd about white supremacy? How about a majority LGBTQ crowd, or a majority AAPI crowd, or a majority white crowd? You never see that. The only
time— what's going on, Shanique? And yeah, he's talking about right here the quote unquote white progressives, which I guess is the modern, you know what I'm saying, liberals, and how we always, you know what I'm saying, look at them this way. But when it comes to our issues, you know what I'm saying, then it's we for everybody. You know, these personally do, I know a lot of black people love quote Bernie Sanders, you know, but all of them at the end of the day turn out to be white nationalists. And he's saying like how, you know, they'll use Martin Luther King and stuff like that. But when we start talking about, well, what are we going to do to pay back black people? You know what I'm saying? They be like, oh, what do you mean? You know, they get mad, they get angry. You know what I'm saying? The real them starts to come out. So
time they bring up white supremacy is when they're either talking to a majority black crowd or a relatively mixed crowd with a decent amount of black people in it, to which they are touching on issues as it pertains to all groups. But in isolation, as it pertains to each group individually, the only time liberals speak about white supremacy is when they're speaking to a majority black audience, because legacy white supremacy in America is anti-black racism. Now, another thing that is very interesting is that ever since Cornel West announced that he was running for president of the United States,
brother Jimmy Dore,
white progressives have been exposing themselves like crazy, revealing who they really are. And the most recent progressive to do this was Jimmy Dore. Recently, Jimmy Dore interviewed Cornel West.
So I talked about this a little bit, but I didn't really go deep on it. But the thing is, you know, they let their, because it always rubbed me the wrong way, because they be like, oh yeah, just because they say some they might be like, I don't want to see a black person get killed by the police or something. We find that that's enough to invite them in to our circles. I ain't gonna say to the cookout, because the cookout been canceled, but into our circles, and that's just good enough. But at the end of the day, it's like I said, it's the John Brown complex. John Brown wasn't real, or he was a liar, according to some of y'all. You know what I'm saying? But it's this white savior complex, but the reality of who they are always comes out, which is why I don't get that, why we think that is going to be some white savior or some like whatever foreign or abroad that's going to work with us or side with us and do anything that's going to help us on a large scale. Maybe on a individual level, maybe, probably not, maybe not. You know what I'm saying? But we just seem to think it's so easy to get somebody to earn our trust and all of this stuff, and how quickly they turn their back on you. Because I just tried to show the Republicans and Democrats last time, but since we think that these people are our friends, you know what I'm saying, just look how quickly it is, because it's a system. They're all white nationalists, you know, like they may be or disagree on how they should run their nation, right? But at the end of the day, John Brown to whoever you name is a white nationalist at the end of the day. Yo, what's going on, Raw?
Pay attention to how visibly upset Jimmy Dore gets when speaking on white supremacy, and even more importantly, pay attention to Jimmy Dore's body language as Cornel West stands up to Jimmy Dore's nonsense, refusing to back down off of white supremacy. As Cornel West is schooling, exposing, and embarrassing Jimmy Dore, Dore's body language has N-word with the hard ER written all over it.
So let me just say this. So the point of running a third-party campaign is to offer an alternative to the two major parties, to bring together disaffected members of those parties, along with independents and others who feel alienated from the political system as it exists. And the best way to do this is by running on economic issues that unite us, but which neither major party is willing to address because they're both beholden to the same powerful corporate interests. The Democratic Party long ago abandoned the working class in favor of beating the drum on cultural issues, and now that's all the Democrats have to run on. So if voters are looking for a party running on trans rights and calling Donald Trump and his supporters white supremacists, they can already vote for Democrats.
See, they got to throw the trans thing in there. Like, see, they equate all of us, like, and I mean, I look at them all the same too, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, they be like, oh yeah, well, like, because honestly, if you look at societies, who's the only group of people arguing if men can be women? It's them, you know what I'm saying? But they try to equate us and throw every single thing into our thing, and then we just openly accept, we're like, oh yeah, well, intersectional issues affect us and all of this, like, nonsense that keeps us, you know what I'm saying, divided. Even when I be listening to it, I be hearing, you know, black women saying like, oh yeah, like when you talking about like white bitches, you black, well, just like black men. And then when I hear black men do the same thing, Like we be trying to be down with everybody else's movement, like it's ever going to help us. You know what I'm saying? Like the only way that you could do is if you have a mission and a goal and all of that stuff yourself, you know, because at the end of the day, I don't know how many, like we ran out of spaces in our back to get stabbed in, you know what I'm saying? Because every group in the world that you tried to be friends with has put their knife in your back and it's still in there twisting, and we just don't understand that, you know what I'm saying?
The role of a third party is to focus not on the identity politics that divide us, but on core economic issues that unite us along class lines, like Christian Smalls did at Staten Island. Do you think he led with LGBTQ trans rights and white supremacy, or do you think he organized along class lines? That's what we have to do. You have to organize.
By the way, a lot of them was like some faggots that rape little boys and grown men and stuff. So I don't know why they try to equate it, you know what I'm saying? Like J. Edgar Hoover, you know what I'm saying? Like let's be real, you know what I'm saying? They are one and the same, but it's this little division thing, and they hit us with some intersectional. It don't even make sense, you know what I'm saying? And the thing is, we can't even understand the intersection is that we black people around the world, because we like, well, this only is in America. Then why is all the black people at the bottom? Why is the black people at the bottom in every single government? And the lighter you are, the farther up you are. And every single thing around the world is a global problem. It's been infestation. You know what I'm saying? Our cookouts have been infiltrated. That's why they canceled, but we still like done.
Meet people where they are. So what is your plan to organize along class lines, or are you going to keep talking about white supremacy and all those identity politics, which are there not from the ground up, from the top down, to make sure we stay divided? What is your plan to organize along class lines?
Well, I appreciate again the clarity and candor of what you have to say. We have profound disagreements, brother. When I organize around white supremacy, I'm not making some utilitarian calculation. I'm speaking as a black man who comes out of a tradition that's been terrorized and traumatized by white elites. And that does not in any way mean it.
You try to like white elites, like, okay, like white bitches. The poor whites was the ones doing the lynching and the quote unquote massacres who was trying to come at us, you know, like God forbid a black man have a piano, because you know you had better things than they had, and they got jealous and wanted to kill you, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know what, because we just think that somehow that is going to be a different group of Neanderthals, you know what I'm saying? Raul called them aliens, that's going to somehow be human, when it doesn't work that way. That's not how psychopathic behavior works, you know what I'm saying?
It takes me away from class issue. Class issues are crucial. Class issues are fundamental, but it doesn't mean that I'm putting up with white supremacy.
Ain't that something ain't got nothing to do with it? Ain't got nothing to do with class, do it? Because we be like, oh well, we just take this form of government and this class will have all our issues solved, as if there's ever going to be a way that you can't do it. You're only going to have to be able to do it by yourself. Yo, what up, Jermaine? You know, like we try to divide it up into every single issue except for the one that we know is the problem. Why? Because it's a fear thing, I think, in my opinion. I don't know.
Issues are fundamental, but it doesn't mean that I'm putting up with white supremacy. One of the problems is that you get too many folk who want to talk class, and can't say a mumbling word about white supremacy, police brutality. Can't say a mumbling word hardly. Or when they do say it, you call it identity politics as if it's not connected to class. I'm hitting these.
Oh, by the way, if y'all didn't know, they think our lives are politics. You know what I'm saying? That's why I wouldn't argue about whether we deserve to be killed or not. You know what I'm saying? That's ignorant. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is why I advocate for Raw's thing, but at the very least, you shouldn't be in the same society as them. You know what I'm saying? Because we're going to look at the female host, you know how I do, because I know that y'all love them so much.
Politics as if it's not connected to class. I'm hitting these head on. I'm standing with the workers when it comes to strikes. I'm standing with the workers when it comes to greedy bosses. I'm standing with the workers when it comes to obsession with profits and the needs not in any way being satisfied. But I'll never for a minute be silent or not raising my voice in terms of.
I know. And but the thing is, right, he better not come out of, oh, and by the way, what up, Anthony? but he better not come out of pocket though with them damn shysters. But he cannot speak on black things particularly, you know what I'm saying? Because shysters like him, they know their role in it, you know what I'm saying? They competed just like every other white group in there, and they're white nationalists too, let's be real, you know what I'm saying? But they figured out how to put their beliefs or religion, whatever they want to call it, their culture above everything, you know what I'm saying? But they still are, you know what I'm saying, going to make sure that these N-words stay in their place, you know what I'm saying? Because they capitalize probably the most, you know what I'm saying? And Cornel West is getting his wake-up call just like all the rest of them. That's why I was showing the Republican and the Democrat, you know what I'm saying, presidential candidates, and how they can't even get on the debate stage at this point. But as soon as you start talking about that white supremacy stuff, you know.
Comes to strikes, I'm standing with the workers when it comes to greedy bosses. I'm standing with the workers when it comes to obsession with profits and the needs not in any way being satisfied. But I'll never for a minute be silent. I'm not or not raising my voice in terms of vicious treatment of black people, indigenous people, gay brothers, lesbian sisters, or trans.
Wait a minute. You telling me that we stop saying capitalism, we ain't gonna have the same problem? Or is you still gonna be at the bottom, whatever you say you are? You know what I'm saying? Like, you telling me this is two different things, and one of them is keeping your, I don't know, I'm not gonna say black hemp pots, you know what I'm saying? But the problem is, you know what I'm saying, we start talking about who all benefits from this thing and this whole system, we would have to start talking about where it may hit home for him, you know what I'm saying? And that's why a lot of people try to make it something that is not really about, like, we're not going to act like the truth is, and they would be like, oh, well, it's just a social construct. It's not, you know what I'm saying? But we try to figure out every single way which we can bail ourselves out.
It's not an either or, and that's where you and I have a deep, profound disappointment. So if I see, for example, if I watch your show and I notice you hardly say a mumbling word about white supremacy because it's some kind of identity politics and I'm against it, but I don't want to talk about it. I only want to talk about what people hold in common. Well, black people are not going to hold it in common if you don't say a word about white supremacy, but maybe some of your white friends will. So who are you talking about when you're talking about in common? Are you talking about just a majority or what, my dear brother? I will never, ever in a million years not talk about vicious legacies of white supremacy, male supremacy, homophobia, transphobia, and others. But class will always be very much at the center. What brings you and I together is what? Our fundamental solidarity.
Not a goddamn thing, Cornel West.
100%. They're used by so the Democrats, that's all they have to run.
And no disrespect to Cornel West, he's very educated, but when people say he's like smart, how could he not figure that out? Like, what brings us together? Obviously, he ain't together with you. You know what I'm saying? You've been one drop rule.
They're used by so the Democrats, that's all they have to run on. And when you say that stuff, you just sound like a Democrat because that's all they have. So if
exactly
you
wrong.
need,
if the talk about the dignity of black people in the face of vicious white supremacy makes me sound like a Democrat, you got the wrong earplug.
Okay,
you're not listening clearly.
All right. So you know, that's just how they, you know, because I want to show something, but y'all
entirety of this 45-minute interview warranted attack by Jimmy Dore. But what this interview goes to show is that in the mind of the white progressive like Jimmy Dore, he doesn't care about how many degrees Cornel West has and how
educated you are, how proper English you speak. You still a damn N-word to him.
Is that in the mind of the white progressive like Jimmy Dore, he doesn't care about how many degrees Cornel West has and how respected he is amongst his peers as an intellectual amongst intellectuals. No, in his eyes, Cornel West is still a boy. And in closing, when you get a chance to, do yourself a favor and go read the comment section in the most recent interview that Maj Touré did on Jimmy Dore's YouTube channel, in which Maj was making the case for reparations. Please do yourself a favor and go read the comments. And as you're reading those comments, remember, those are your so-called progressive allies and comrades. And
all right, because he brings us to a good point. And it's like I said, man, John Brown never existed, you know what I'm saying? And even if he did, it wasn't what you think it is, you know. The first John Brown was, because they talk about Bacon's rebellion. He was a rich white boy who came over here, got kicked out of their government. So he tried to get everybody to unite to take over their stuff so he could be the king. Right? They leave out the part where they be those John Brown and them be like, well, Negroes are savages and they need us to direct them because and teach them our Christian way of life, you know, because there are savages who's just beasts, but we just disagree with the inhumane treatment in slavery. You know what I'm saying? But they still need to follow us because they're inwards, you know what I'm saying? You know, what's going on, Cassandra? So keep in mind when I was like, you know, because he was saying how the white progressives, even though they would say this and that, you know, they pretend like they're whatever, but they get angry because I want to play somebody a video that I normally would not play, but I had to play it for one reason. And somebody sent me this because I wanted you to see what she's talking about. And speaking of reparations, you know what I'm saying, and those allies, you know what I'm saying. Now I know y'all probably gonna focus on whose video it is, you know, but it's not meant to play his video. But I did want to show you what this chick was saying, you know what I'm saying, because I know y'all heard about good old Jane Elliott, you know what I'm saying, and like I said, you know, these was your white friends, but I want you to see like firsthand, like, because she started to let it come out, that white nationalist stuff, it started to come out. So I'm gonna skip through just a little bit of this, and y'all don't pay attention to whose video it is because that's irrelevant. Just listen to what she say. Yo, what's going on, my brother Maurice Muhammad? What John Brown said, what? I don't know if he was real. Unless you're saying like were they are like savages or something like that. Yeah. I'll do a matter of fact, I'll do a whole joint. Like I talked about John Brown before, you know what I'm saying? Because I know that we feel like we gotta have this hero that save us, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't real, you know. Now, all right, so I'm gonna play this video, all right, and just listen to what she's saying, all right.
But now it is worse than I have ever seen it. I have never seen anything like what is happening in this country today.
So would you say that
evangelical religion is concerned?
So would you say that religion is man-made and man-created God? Uh-oh.
I think.
Oh, damn. So, you know, right here, she's just saying like we all want race and all that. And how we all come from black
the human
people.
race. Human beings created racism.
Don't answer the question. Maybe you should just see.
There's not a doubt in my mind of what God created, one race, the human race. God allowed humans to prosper and to live and to exist. Once they were able to exist and to prosper, they created racism out of pure ignorance, total ignorance. Enough melanin in your skin to keep you healthy. You're a white boy. You live with. I was asked by a group of midwives several years. Women and their babies don't get the same treatment in the delivery room that so-called white women in their. Now think about it, in the home of the brave, and those women have to be extremely brave. This is not what I call freedom.
Yeah, I don't think so either. That's why she's trying to be like it's only one race, and that's her probably her admitting she was like, "You're not human if you don't come from black people." And I don't think she come from me. You know, I'll be honest with you. Like Ross said, they probably the aliens. You know.
And this is not what I call democracy.
Let me ask you, what is your stance on reparations when it comes to black people, so-called black people?
Number one, if you're going to give reparations to people who had their land stolen, had their little girls raped, had their children raped, had their people killed, you better start with the First Nations people.
Now she was spent this whole time out saying that they was black, but she's going that the black people was the Indians, but now she's going to clearly like contradict herself because she's going to make a distinction like, well, no, we shouldn't give it to you Negroes, you know what I'm saying? And then when they push back a little bit, the whole white nationalist thing kind of come out of her quick, you know, because it don't take much.
Who are the First Nations people? Are you talking about the indigenous so-called Native Americans?
I'm talking about the indigenous people on this continent. You want to give reparations to people, give reparations to them first.
Interesting.
Because
So let me
treated them. Hey, wait a minute. You want to talk about reparations? How many? Wait a minute. How many of what we call black people have had to live on reservations for their whole lives?
He said, how many black people have had to live on reservations? Now, I don't see no black people like casinos and all. Now, listen, they stabbed us in the back 1,000 times. And this is what they took to stab us in the back. You know what I'm saying? That's what they was from the very beginning. I talked about one of the first rebellions against Europeans. And it was the Wolof tribe who showed these, Asian looking Indians, you know what I'm saying, how to fight back. And then they settled with a quote unquote peace treaty to go after the black people, you know what I'm saying? And now she's saying, oh, have any of you ever lived on a reservation? This is good old Jane Elliott, who makes a living talking about specifically black people, you know what I'm saying, how black people is this and that. But now she's going to go against everything that she's been talking about because that white nationalist is about to come out.
Indigenous people do.
Are the indigenous people also African Americans, so-called?
My life.
My bad. Now he took this video down for a minute because I don't know, but
yes, and they hate me for saying it, and they accuse me of trying to destroy.
Now the Indians was black,
indigenous
right?
people.
So we are the Native American Indians as well. You saying?
Because
Native Americans came from Africa just like all the rest of us did.
See, now she's trying to now she's blurring the lines with it. Like, oh, well, everybody came from Africa. I don't know if the Neanderthals came from Africa. I can tell you that right now. But they're definitely a different species because human ain't a damn race. You know what I'm saying? This is a species. And they're probably a different species. You know what I'm saying? This is why, like, in the medical field, we'll get to that because they talk about that. But
right, through the Bering Strait.
Think about how angry they are when I say that. They say that they came from Turtle Island. A Native American girl dove into the lake and got mud off the bottom of the lake.
I don't know. She started like,
and we all came from the same place. Different faces aren't different races. It's time to get over that.
Different faces on what? What kind of Alzheimer's stuff was that she talking about?
Yes.
No, you go ahead.
Yes. So yeah, that's what I've been saying for a long. As you know, what I say is that I say the European is nothing but a.
See now they I'm gonna skip
adjust their needs to fit the environment. Country, for instance.
Now
please stop calling this country we are. That's what human beings are.
Rattling for like
you have a biracial marriage when we're all members of the same race.
Oh yeah, let me
Multi.
tell this part.
They are.
So
That's
she said Joe Biden just passed the law. Now this is the thing. Remember I was talking to you about like the gay stuff because they passed this same-sex marriage thing, and they also included protections against interracial marriages in the bill, which is like how they use different stuff like that, so they can get some LBG stuff passed, they'll throw black stuff in there, you know what I'm saying, like interracial marriages. Oh, this is for protection for interracial marriages, but it's really for quote unquote same-sex marriage, to pass these bills. And she about to mention it.
They're in all the Americas, South and North, right? Or both the Americas, correct?
they ought to be called Afro-Americans because that's what they are. That's what we all are.
He said everybody African Americans, y'all.
Interested in you going back to the statement about the Native Americans. Do you call them Native Americans or you call them Native United? Well, they're in all the Americas, South and North, right? Or both the Americas, correct?
They ought to be called Afro-Americans because that's what they are. That's what we all are.
We all African.
But if you don't want to do that, then call them mosaic.
Okay.
We are all mosaic. A mosaic is an art form that is new and beautiful and made of many elements.
Yeah, what is
and that's
mosaic?
What we are. That's what human beings are. We're mosaic. We are not black and white and red and yellow. We are shades of brown. If you have one color group, for instance, when you have people are talking and Mr. Biden, whom I admire greatly because he's trying to put us back on the right track after a miserable 4 years.
Oh, Joe Biden.
But several months ago, he signed legislation making multiracial marriages legal. There's no such thing.
He signed legislation making
multiracial
marriages legal?
Yep. There's no such thing. There is no such thing as
now, this maybe her being dumb as hell or something, but yeah, they or legalize it in the 60s and all of the, y'all already know the court cases, and yeah, they damn sure need to be reversed. You know what I'm saying? And I think I'm gonna play something later that say that. But what she's saying is just like they just added provisions, but it was really to get the gay marriage thing passed. You know what I'm saying? And that's why they like, what the hell is she talking about?
Biracial marriage. There's no such thing as biracial unless one of the parties is from outer space.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wait a minute. Multiracial.
Now you heard that, Raw. She said, unless one is no such thing as we all one race, unless somebody comes from outer space. You heard her.
Biracial marriage. There's no such thing as biracial unless one of the parties is from outer space.
Wait a minute. Multiracial marriage is legal? You're saying that it wasn't legal before Joe Biden?
Nope.
Well,
what?
Can you explain to us where you're going with that?
He wouldn't have made it legal.
All right, so let me see.
And I want to ask you, what is the difference between quote unquote black people and everyone else? What's the difference?
Well, the main difference is
we want to be seen as this one block of the, like you do in your experience, the racism and the atrocities that have been done to so-called black people. I have to say that for lack of, what do we do about that when we say let's all be one race, when we're asking for reparations and we want to be singled out?
And that's my question to y'all who be like, oh, it's a class issue. It ain't about this. It ain't about, so how you gonna figure that out?
In that case, how do we do that? When you're saying let's unify as one race, we're like, no. We want to be seen as this one black race, and we want payback. We want reparations. How do we do that?
the first thing you do is realize that the past is past. You cannot change the past.
She's in the beginnings of the redneck part, because you're like, oh yeah, history, past is the past. That you cannot change it. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta forget about it. Accept it. It is what it is.
You can keep what happened in the past from ever happening again in the future. You can't change the past, but you can.
Right. And I'm like, yo, they never like. I'll be like, yo, I should bring her on, but she ain't come on here because I would be like, yo, you dumb as hell. You know, y'all know I'm gonna go in like shut the hell up with all this crazy stuff that you're talking about. But all right, she going straight turn Republicans real quick. You know what I'm saying? Pull a Donald Trump on us.
Past from ever happening again in the future. You can't change the past, but you can create a future that is very different from what some people think it should be. You can force people to realize that we're all one race. Mistakes have been made. You can't fix those mistakes, and whether or not you believe this, you can't fix them with money.
She was like, oh, oops. He was like, mistakes was made. She called that mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Oops, my bad.
If you want to make some melanated people really angry, you need to remember that the color we prize most is green, which is the color of our money. You want to create a problem for yourself, you ask melanated people to give up some of their money.
Yeah, that's reparations. That's what they talk about with reparations. But what are you talking about? She was like, it's not going to be solved by money. Then made the case why, like, they should ask them for reparations. Like, maybe that's the dimension. Maybe that's. I don't think it's dimension. I think it's European logic. Because if you listen, they say this stuff when they're like 6. They say this stuff when they're 80. When they're 45. You know what I'm saying? They say the same thing over and over. It's like not even creative. So I don't think it's dementia, but.
There's a better way. You have to insist that we change the education that is offered in the United States of America. We have to insist that people who are educating our children teach the truth so that what happened in the past will never be repeated in the future. You won't do it if all you do is talk about what happened in the past. You've got to decide that it will never happen again, and you're going to raise the kind of children who will never allow it to happen to them or to anybody else.
If you ain't gonna talk about the past, how you gonna tell them never? They'll just be like, never let what happen again. Then you have to tell them what you never let happen again. That's how you know that she's just like, just saying stuff. You know what I'm saying? Just to say it, and she don't mean it. She's making a career. Just like all them other ones, you know, because we never talk about them. We talk about only the black ones, but they making a career out of this nonsense. You know what I'm saying?
Else in the United States of America.
So do you think we should forget about
reparations? Won't do it. Reparations will not do it.
Okay, I know.
Will not allow those.
Shut up.
Look, have you read the book The System by Robert Reich?
I know you N-words can't read, but have you read
The System? Okay, then write it down. The System by Robert Reich. That depends what you want most.
Right.
You want reparations most, or do you want a society in which people are treated as fully functioning human beings?
Reparations most.
We want the same thing that the Jewish people got, if not more, because we lost way more people in the transatlantic slave trade than anybody in the world. So I think.
Yeah, they paid her. That's messed up. I would not pay her $1. But we like I see a lot of like she come to speak. Not only her, that white boy Tim Wise and all the other ones, the white boy Sean King. You know what I'm saying? All of them. It's making a business out of this. They making money. They getting paid off of this. You know what I'm saying? Like a living. Like to the point where they can retire and just do what they want and go around and talk about. And you know, it'll be like, oh yeah, he said the truth. Now come on to the cookout. And that's something like, but I want you to see, because they talk about, because I guess you could call her the progressive. Look how mad she started getting with them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Basically telling them to shut up and all that. You know what I'm saying? Just that quick.
The Europeans, they owe us everything. Everything, because they have raped, robbed, murdered, and stolen everything from our ancestors. And now when you look at it today, we got to go back to them and buy these things from them. Buy it from them. The things that was naturally ours.
All right. So you want to spend the rest of your life dealing with reparations from the past, or trying to be paid off for what happened in the past? Because if you do, don't go near the nearest woman.
What?
Why not?
Because if you're going to be because women are still being beaten and abused and kept.
Wait, time out. There's no such thing as black women. All right, don't go near a woman. What are you talking about? And if we talking about women, white bitches was the most dangerous ones. They was the most brutal ones out of all of them. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I hate this word like patriarchy, especially like in America when people be saying it, because like that's not true at all. You know what I'm saying? Because a white bitch is probably the most safest person in the hood. You know what I'm saying? And definitely we all know that they're over black men. You know what I'm saying? And this white bitch here, you know what I'm saying, who's playing the part right now, whether well, you know what I'm saying, it's like, don't go near women. You know, like white bitches was the most dangerous ones out of all of them. Like how they killed all of these people, how they probably raped black men more than the other way around in reality. In American history, I would bet money with somebody if we go case by case, it'll be way more white bitches than rape black men than the other way around. Like, yo, I'm gonna tell you did such and such. And if you don't, you know what I'm saying? But anyway.
From jobs and kept from being seen as totally human by a whole lot of men. And that's been going on for a lot of years, a lot more years than racism has.
But that's still not an excuse for them to keep.
Yeah, see, consider they're not gonna let us on this show because and she ain't gonna come over here because that she wouldn't even start with this whole hour talking about we all the human race nonsense to us. You know what I'm saying? Because we're gonna talk about I'm gonna ask her how much you get paid to go speak and where do you go talk at? That's what I want to know. And who's the ones paying you to do all this talking? And how much you really grossing off this? Because we're gonna see this is a lucrative business. This is another reason why I show it. This is a lucrative business that they use to spew the same thing. But then when you start talking about the black people, you know. So let me let her finish talking about how there's no such thing as black women.
What happened in the past? Because if you do, don't go near the nearest woman.
Why not?
Because if you're going to be because women are still being beaten and abused and kept from jobs and kept from being seen as totally human by a whole lot of men. And that's been going on for a lot of years, a lot more years than racism has.
But that's still not an excuse for them to keep what was stolen. Let's say, watch this.
Well,
Watch this. Watch this. Let me paint a picture for you.
I think black women want reparations too, though. I think that's what she messed up. Oh yeah, let's forget like you know, we done been through every generation of the white bitches. You know,
if someone come into your house and steal something and parlay it into an empire, and you see that later on, your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren say, nah, that belonged to my grandma. And they are living off of the wealth that they have stolen from you. Do your children have a right to say, give us back what you stolen from my grandmother? Yes? No? What? Just let them keep it.
Yeah, big money, Maurice. That's what I'm trying to put. Like, that's why I'm like, yo, we be letting that slide. They be getting millions of dollars scamming, and we can only focus on whatever. But since I ain't saying you should or you shouldn't, but since ain't nobody talking about this, I'm gonna show. And they make a great example because I don't know why we trust any of them anywhere in the world. You know what I'm saying? But
is that the way you want to spend the rest of your life?
Well, let me jump in and say this. See, this is the thing people.
No.
No, I'm answering you. I'm answering you in this way.
I want that man to answer me. He's the one who asked the question.
Yeah, I mean, who say we got to spend the rest of our life? But still, you got to fight.
That you gonna spend the rest of your life? Yo, we'll spend the rest of eternity destroying you. You know what I'm saying? Or putting ourselves in whatever. You know what I'm saying? But you know, she was like, no, shut up, N-word. Well, I can't. She ain't gonna say the B word. She could be like, just shut up, N-word, girl. I'm talking to the man. Let the black man answer you. You know what I'm saying? Because you gonna try to say that white bitches ain't stabbed black women in the back a million times. Oh yeah, let me. I'll be like, see, I could have been like, oh, let me go ask. You know what I'm saying? People like what's the chick with the Planned Parenthood? You know what I'm saying? Let me go ask her who was a feminist, or you know, the ones from the early 1900s, or the ones that Ida B. Wells that were, or the ones from the 1800s who was calling for more lynchings of black men. You know what I'm saying? That's how I can say that. You know what I'm saying? See, he ain't gonna say none of that to her, you know.
the way you
right,
want to,
though.
that's the way you want to spend the rest of your life.
No,
That's
no,
the way
you
you want to
still
spend the
fight.
rest of your life.
No, what I'm saying
Getting
is,
even for what happened in the past.
it's not
Can I
about
say
getting
this?
even. We're talking about giving back what have been
Talking about giving
stolen. That's
even.
all we're saying. So that we could begin to raise our family. We could begin to buy land. We could begin to grow businesses. See, without all of that, then they take away everything from us. Give us back what have been stolen, right? Where we can begin to grow out in our own communities. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Because right now we're limited. We're limited. We got to go to them for jobs. Whereas when you look at the Jewish people, they create jobs. And now we're working for them, and our people working for them, and they are the landlords. And now they are the ones that we pay our rent to, and you know, pay all the phone bills and all this other stuff. We're supposed to be in that position as well. Give us that right to be
All right,
in that
all right,
position.
okay, all right. Let's reduce this to three simple
See,
things.
now you're about to get pissed off because you remember earlier he was like, you see how they get pissed off, like the dude got pissed off with Cornel West and all that. See, if y'all don't think John Brown was like this, then do your research on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, how he got paid. Like, you know, John Brown had led a thing before, and they killed all the black people but let him go because he was a white boy, and then he did it again. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is just look at the whole history repeat itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, all this stuff is like facts about them, and they show you time and time again. We just don't believe it, and we be like, oh well, you said something nice. Come on to the cookout.
All right, okay, all right. Let's reduce this to three simple things. Three simple things. And I'm not going to argue about this. This is the way I see it. If you don't see it this way, just hang up. I don't care. Number
I don't
one.
care what you N-words think
Without
about
what
your
we
own
call
stuff.
blacks, there would be no what we call whites. Period. You can argue that until hell freezes over, but that's the truth.
No,
Number two.
we're not going to hang up. We're going to allow you to speak in peace.
Wait, I'm not done. Without Jews,
Shut
there would
up,
be no
N-word.
Christians. Now that's a fact.
None
And
of
without
this is
women,
facts.
there would be no men.
Now,
Are we going to make all the
now you know,
wait? Are we going to make all those? Are we going to make all those groups victims, or are we going to make all those groups victimizers? Or are we going
Now she makes a living off of, like, you see how it is to be black, and I started this the day Martin Luther King got killed, and you know what I'm saying? And if you don't recognize the state that black people is in now, all of a sudden we don't want to make them like, what is this, a right wing you know what I'm saying, talk show? Like, or did she just come off of, you know what I'm saying, Fox News or something with these talking points? Like, it could be switched so easily, you know what I'm saying? And this is a white bitch who's been at the cookout for 30 years now. You know what I'm saying? Like damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, then wasn't it a red flag when she know who like Frankie Beverly was? You know what I'm saying? But
to say these are all human beings who behaved in ways that,
right, if you don't agree,
in
you
many
ain't
ways,
black.
were absolutely ridiculous and sinful and horrible and hateful? Or are you going to say that was then and this is now, and we can turn this thing around if we choose to, or we can complain about what happened in the past.
Now, this is a person who makes bank off of talking about what happened in the past with black people specifically, and then it's become, oh, we can cry about the past, or we can work to, you know, hold every baby and kiss everybody and sing kumbaya and, you know what I'm saying, dance around the campfire together. Well, you know what? How about this? Give up everything that you have, that you ever have got. We'll just start it from scratch. Otherwise, you know what I'm saying, we'll just take it and do what we do. You know what I'm saying? But I never want us to forget these lessons, because maybe like this is a lesson in thousands of years of living that we got to know to stop welcoming everybody to your stuff and protect it. You know what I'm saying? And be kind to your own people, and you know what I'm saying, understand who competition is, understand that they never meant you no good. You know, let me hurry up though.
Until we get into another war.
Right. Have you ever heard of?
Which do you want to do?
Have you ever heard of the
We can
ancient
get another
Egyptians?
war. That's what we want to do.
Yes, I'm just reading.
Who's there be no Christians?
Not just monetary. We don't even know who we are.
Group. They stolen.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? We're not arguing.
I
with
see
you. We're
what you're
just
saying.
building. Yeah.
No, we're building, but I want to get
saying.
back to the conversation that she was having, because it's not about money. It is about a group of people having everything torn away from us, not just monetary. We don't even know who we are. That's what we stay on this channel arguing about day in, day out, because of what was done to us as a people. And yes, you made a lot of sense. You hit them in their pockets, but we also get to show people, look, I'm talking about everyone, the whole human race. The ones who have a history of doing it say, this is what we're doing to say we're sorry for what we did to these people. We made money off of them. We made money off of their blood and their lives and their children for centuries.
And now, and the thing is, right, you got to understand, right, for us, like, besides like us maybe being here and like other groups of people like us, you know what I'm saying, like, this is like the default position with black people, like outside. When you go outside and talk to people, they be like, oh, I'm not racist, I just only this and this, you know what I'm saying? And that's why we can be so infiltrated so easily, and they'll call us like racist. Other black people will call us like the racists and stuff like that, because they'll be like, oh yeah, we're not saying like, oh, not all, because we gotta be like, not all cops are bad, when all of them are there to enforce the system that is there to be whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, all of them are there for that, just like all of them are white nationalists. And that's just understandable, because if we had a nation, we would be black nationalists, you know what I'm saying? That's why we want to build our own nation, so we can protect it above all and everything. It's just that we be surprised when white nationalists come out of the so-called people in the cookout, you know?
And they're still living on that generational wealth. It hasn't gone away. They're living on that generational wealth. The DuPont.
Most people have no clue that in 20.
And she's been preaching about all of this stuff, that because we've always loved to educate.
Child.
We educate
they're
so
still
well.
living, and they're, like you said, it's not even a black and white thing. We want the human race to see this is what happens to people when they harm other people. Groups of people aren't allowed to do this. And so I think I agree with you. I love the way you teach, but right here we're at odds, because someone has to show that they pay for what they do when they kill people for centuries. We're talking about epigenetic encoding.
Right,
if you
that's
tell
so
me to
much
read a
to
book,
change
I want
our
you to look,
DNA.
if you haven't already followed her, Dr. Joy DeGruy, to pay for that somehow. What do you think about that, ma'am?
I'm saying,
I think this is, now you aren't going to like this either, but I'm going to say it. Within, because that's what I do. Within 25 years,
what?
white melanemic people will have become a numerical minority in the United States of America. We have always been a numerical minority worldwide. But in the United States.
Oh, by the way, you just heard her say we. All right. She reverted back to who she really is. You know what I'm saying? Because she knows, she said herself, if you're not from black people, you are the aliens. And like, damn, like they have like no humanity in them. You know what I'm saying? Because she can understand it, make a living off of it. But she knows at the end of the day, she don't want her nation, her white nation, to be destroyed. You know what I'm saying? This is their whiteness over everything. Hey, white first. That's what we never get. They are French. They are men. They are women. They think that men could be women. They are gay. You know what I'm saying? They're Greek, you know, but they are white first. You know what I'm saying? Like, they understand that when it comes to us, and we don't understand that. That's why it's hard to like have quote unquote allies or try to work with somebody, because we've tried all of that and it's not worked, because we don't do it with the right mindset. You know what I'm saying? That's how we keep getting enslaved and conquered and all of this stuff. Well, maybe the Asian, the Denisovans aren't as bad as the Neanderthals, but no, it's not. It's all the same thing.
We will be a numerical minority. And the reason the Proud Boys, the QAnon, the Oath Keepers, the 3%ers, the KKK are behaving the way they are is because they are scared to death of what's going to happen to them when they become the numerical minority in the United States of America. It is going to happen in your lifetime. It won't happen in mine. I'm going to be 90 years old in 2 months. So
well, you heard what Joe Biden said. He said America is doomed, not just because of the African Americans, but these mulatto groups that we see getting created, because this is a topic that we gotta address. You know what I'm saying?
To happen in mine, but it is going to happen in yours.
Bless yourself.
And you're
Bless
going
you.
to have an opportunity. You and shut up and listen, please.
Listen to that. She was like, "Bless your soul, bless your soul." She was like, "Shut up,
Death of what's going
shut
to
up,
happen to
N-word."
them when they become the numerical minority in the United States of America. It is going to happen in your lifetime. It won't happen in mine. I'm going to be 90 years old in 2 months. So it's going to happen in mine. But it is going to happen in
Bless you.
yours.
Bless yourself.
And you're
Bless
going
you.
to have an opportunity. You and shut up and listen, please. You and your lifetime are going to have the opportunity to treat people the way they have treated you. And that is what scares so-called white people in this country today.
Right.
They are
See, now I ain't even gonna make it about this, but I imagine if I had gone on there and tell him to shut up and listen when he said "bless me," you know what I'm saying? Um, you know, that's the whole Miss Ann syndrome. And the whole time it was like, "What should we call you? Should we call you like Miss Elliott, Miss Jane, you know, Miss Ann, like, you know?" And there's no disrespect to them, but you hear how she's basically saying we don't want to make these white boys or white bitches upset or angry to throw it in their face that they can't reproduce and they about to wipe themselves out, as long as we don't go around trying to save them again, you know what I'm saying? And you don't want to piss them off, so we don't want to do anything that could harm them. Like, never mind how you feel, never mind what you need in your communities, you know what I'm saying? She's pretty much saying, like, well, just like Obama said, it was a non-starter issue among whites. Of course, I think that black people need reparations like 6 years after he left office, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, that's another mulatto group, you know what I'm saying, which is, I guess, half human. And I've been watching a lot of you know, biracial stuff, like, you know, and I guess I'm gonna talk about it soon, because I was just talking about a brother who was 1/4 black, but he identified as black and he did stuff for like black issues, you know what I'm saying? And John Henry Clark was like, man, this is one of the toughest subjects to talk about. And I understand why he say that, but we could definitely talk about it nowadays. So I'm gonna definitely talk about it. Yo, what up, highly favorite? Yeah, she can definitely kick rock. Yeah. Yeah, though, yeah. Revelations 13 and 10. I know what you talk about, Shanique. Those who leave.
are scared to death.
Yes.
They are scared to death that people of color believe the golden rule, which says, do unto others as you would have others do unto you. In other words, treat people the way you want to be treated.
Right.
They are scared that you, who are of a different color group, but are same race, but of a different color group,
Same race, but you, because she thought she messed up. She was like, you of a different group, you know what I'm saying? Which is why they call it a different race. Race is just the term that they identify different groups as, you know what I'm saying? And you can call it albedo or whatever you want. You can call us the sun people for all I care, you know what I'm saying? But she had to throw it back. She almost messed up.
think that white people want to be treated the way they are treating other people. I don't believe in the golden rule. I believe in the platinum rule, which says, do unto others as others would have you do unto them. Treat others the way they want to be treated. You can't treat people the way you want to be treated and expect them to accept you, to enjoy you, to appreciate you, to honor you. You have to treat people the way they want to be treated. And in order to do that, you have to listen to them. And when they talk to you about fixing the wrongs of the past, you have to say to yourself, I didn't do it. I'm trying to fix today so that those things that happened in the past won't.
Now they ain't do nothing, y'all. We ain't never did nothing. You know what I'm saying? They ain't did nothing.
Happen in the future.
I agree.
That's what we've got to do. We've got to get over trying to get even and start to convince people that what we want is to get to see every human being as an equal human being.
Right.
So what we're gonna do about the non-human beings, chick?
I
It's almost over.
I agree with you.
Deserves. Hey, you don't agree with me, and
No,
I know.
I agree with
And she was like, I agree with you. She's like, no, you don't agree with me, N-word. I know you. I know this condescending tone you N-words have. I know I get problems and kickback everywhere I go, but I don't understand. I'm the modern John Brown here. So They're gonna make excuses for y'all.
I don't agree about the part not getting even though, but I agree with you about treating people how they want to be treated. And we want reparations.
Exactly.
Yes, let me say this real quick. Once again, family, we are speaking to Jane Elliott. Jane Elliott is in the building. That was done. That's all we're saying, Miss Elliott. And for you, I want to say that now you know, Miss Elliott, that when the Jewish people got their reparations, they was able to repair a lot of the damage that took place, right? That's all we are saying. We're not talking about getting a knife and going out killing and wounding European. We're simply saying that we want to be able to.
Now I'll tell you something, okay? And I guess this might be a string. They said that the Civil War was our reparations, right? But I think only like a couple thousand of them died compared to millions of us, right? So if we're going to do number for number, that means that, you know what I'm saying, if that's the reparations that they want to pay, they have a long way to go. That's all I'm gonna say. They only paid a little bit of that bill. So
to repair the damage that was done. That's all we're saying, Miss Elliott. And for you to say, well, you know, I don't think y'all did. And what you're saying is we don't need reparations. Just let them have it and move on and just forget what happened to you. Just move on. I don't think
don't.
Hold on. You being just like
don't misrepresent what I said.
Go ahead.
Do not misrepresent what I said.
Tell me what you
I
said.
did not say forget about the past.
Go ahead.
I would not, and I would not advise anyone to forget about the
she
past.
just spent 20 minutes
But what
there.
you need to think about
past?
is the future. And if you constantly think about what happened in the past, you aren't going to have enough energy to create a future that is better than the past was. Nobody is denying the horrible things that we did, that this country, that some people in this country did to start this problem
No, she said it right.
with skin color. Nobody's denying that. What I am saying is they were ignorant. We are now living with a group of people who are suffering from self-imposed ignorance, who want to dwell on the past, and if it's all right for melanaceous and melanotic people to dwell on the past, then it's all right for melanemic people to dwell on the past. And they'll think of the past as the way it was good for us. They won't think of the way of the past as the way it was bad for you. They'll think of the way the past was good for them.
And you know what the thing is? Everybody, every single group think about how the present could be good for them. You know what I'm saying? And it's us who is thinking, how could the present be good for everybody? Because we gotta be like POC and the allies and the good old white people, you know what I'm saying, for everybody, you know. And see, she's saying like, oh, well, you need to stop thinking about this because they're gonna be thinking about how they used to do it. Well, you know what black people used to do? They used to send them running out their towns, you know what I'm saying? When they came back with them shotguns, they don't tell you about most of that. You know what I'm saying? It would be a lot more Black Wall Streets that we know about if it wasn't for that. Think about it. Everywhere was segregated. It was black towns everywhere. It's only a couple instances like that. Most of the time, you whipped their ass and sent them packing. She ain't gonna tell you about none of that part of history, though. You know what I'm saying? She's just gonna pick it up from where Martin Luther King got shot and then make her skim from there and get paid however much money, like y'all said, you know what I'm saying? But she's getting paid to say all this nonsense.
And you'll have a really hard time convincing them that they are responsible for anything that happened in the past. And you'll have a hard time convincing them, because of the way our education system is, and because of the way we write our laws, and because of the kind of people who lead this country, white males are the ones who are making all the decisions, and they have, and they will, until people like you say, yeah, well, you're good in the past, you did what was good for you in the past, now we're going to do what's good for all of us in the present.
Until you Negroes say, okay, you done got a one up on us. Now we're gonna say, like, how can we all get along? By the way, that's what black people been doing this whole goddamn time. And it's crazy because Donahue asked this question to Khalid Muhammad in the 90s. He was like, see, like, how could we get along at this point? See, they don't never talk about Like, okay, give up all the stuff that you have ever gotten off of anything that you have done, you know what I'm saying, and the last whatever, and we'll start from scratch. They're not going to talk about that part. It's just like, how could we start from scratch now, recognizing how there are people who don't want to do that, but it's also up to you not to piss them off by talking about it and just shutting the hell up and let me walk around talking about it, doing my race blue-eyed experiment or whatever the hell she does and making my money. You know what I'm saying? You N-words, just shut the hell up about it.
Present and in the future. We're not going to do just good what's good for you people who don't have much melanin. We're going to do what's good for all of us, because all of us came from people who had a lot of melanin. Now you can harp on the past as long as you want to, but you're spending your energy in a really fruitless endeavor.
All right, thank you, Jane.
Do
We're
what you
gonna
can.
move
You do
forward
what
on
you
that
can.
topic. Yes.
Senator, you should explain to our let you know you don't want to, first off, you don't want to make the same mistakes, and you don't want to forget where you came on what you were, to make sure of who you are today, and that you don't want to, first off, you don't want to make the same mistakes, and you don't want to forget where you came from. So it's looking back, and I'm sure there are a lot of more. We have a lot of audience that can explain it a lot better. But in a nutshell, it means look back to make sure of who you are today, and that you can be your best self because you look back. We're a people of this. This is who we are. I love you for saying the black is not different from the white, and we're all one. I do believe that 100% wholeheartedly, and I appreciate your work showing that.
Yes, we appreciate you,
yeah,
Jane.
but I want to say this. I just want to say this to you.
Wait. But what you have to wait a minute.
I wasn't finished. You interrupted
that's a good thing.
Yeah, it might be a small hat name, but it's just like, hey, just like every other, just like a French one, just like a German one, they all act the same when it comes down to it. Like, you know what I'm saying? They turned into white bitch, a white nationalist, you know what I'm saying? Now she about to cut them off, you know what I'm saying? And I guess they getting frustrated.
You have to wait a minute.
I wasn't finished. You interrupted
that's a good thing. Just a minute.
I was going to say something at the end of that. I'm saying you need to find out more, and I love that you're reading the book by Mr. Browder. You need to find out more about our culture, as we are a people of looking back. You can't tell us don't look back. See, that's what's wrong in this country and in this world. We come from a people who look back. We have people who say they worship their ancestors. We can't forget, because we just can't. That's how we're wired. So we have to find a way to come together where we see the one who's done the harm has to say, I'm sorry, and this is what I do to show sorry, and then we can all come together.
There you
That's
go.
what I said. That's all.
Can you hear that, Nepal?
Yeah.
You don't hear the sound effects?
No.
Yeah. All right, I gotta fix it. Jane hear it though. Jane hear the bombs going off.
Wait a minute. Let's look back at the past where we all came from.
Uh-oh.
I saw war.
All right, so all right, this is the last thing I think. Before I move on after this,
Back at the past, at the brilliance of the people that were here first, and realize that you are members of that. You are descendants of those fantastic human beings, and you are able, in spite of all the crap that has been said and done to you over the last 200, 300 years, you are still able to look back beyond that 300 years and see the greatness of a civilization that started in countries in Africa. Give yourself that fantastic ability and that fantastic brilliance that has been denied for the last 300 to 500 years. Dwell on that and what you're learning about the Nile Valley in Egypt, and realize that you have in you the ability to do things that most of us melanated people cannot relate to, because we're quite certain that we sprang up out of the ground as we were. We're quite certain that we don't want to admit that we came from that fantastic back.
All right, so they tried to change the subject on this one, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, she definitely reaching now. Exactly, you know what I'm saying? Well, see, you know, it was the pivot already, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, so of course, you know, she was like, you know, it is what it is. Cut them off, everything, you know what I'm saying? They let Miss Ann, you know, disrespect. And yeah, I took this down for a minute, you know what I'm saying? But I wanted to play it just because I wanted you to see like how angry they get, you know what I'm saying? Because we seem to think that somewhere down the line that any one of them is any different, you know what I'm saying? Um Yeah, you know, yo, people were worshiping y'all good old Jane Elliott, you know what I'm saying? So let me do this, right? So now I guess I'm about to, you know, do what needs to be done here, you know what I'm saying? Some of the stuff that she was saying, I want you to see the truth about, you know what I'm saying, y'all precious white bitches, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I always got to take the time because I only see people talk negative about black women and all that stuff. But of course, we know that she was telling nonsense because she was like, oh, you can't talk to women as if there aren't such thing as black women who want reparations, you know what I'm saying? Because of what happened to black women, how often they were raped and all of this stuff, you know, and the life that black women lived doing this life, and then the resources and everything. Like, damn, it was like 2 women for the Tulsa reparations thing that they just denied, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know if she was talking about with women, but we know the whole history of white bitches, you know what I'm saying?
Both eroticized and slandered black men. For instance, in 1731, one white woman declared her desire to engage in sexual relations with a well-endowed black man. However, when caught in such relationships, these women would accuse the black men of corrupting their white womanhood. Historical records show that if accused, black men often faced severe punishments such as genital mutilation or even death by burning. Some white women both erotic.
All right, so I gotta go deep in the history that y'all already know. I'm gonna play this one, all right. So she got a question for black people, you know what I'm saying?
This question is for black people only. If I invite you to the picnic, are you coming? You guys always invite us to the cookout, but we never invite you to the picnics.
She act like she don't know what she's talking about, but in her thing, she like make jokes like, "Oh yeah, let's get out too" and all that. Now, some of y'all would go to the white bitches cookout, right? And because if we talk about this mulatto thing, it ain't even the children's fault. You know what I'm saying? The real blame is the black parent who gave up their DNA. You know what I'm saying, to make all of this happen. And usually, it's like, you know, you make excuse. That's why people make excuses why Jane Elliott and all the other ones could get up into the cookout. You know, because even she said, you know, you always invite me to the cookout. Yeah, I don't know if you talking to, but like you said that she's Dominican, you don't know. And that's the thing. If we on the same thing with people who also say I don't call myself black, you can't really get mad at other people for doing the same thing. You know, but we also will make cases for why they are in the situations they in. Do you know why? Because I think that y'all have a weakness for these white bitches, and a lot of us would take them up. Just like the brother who went camping, you know what I'm saying? And the brother or the sister who was at the place and ended up, you know what I'm saying, going whatever. Another brother went riverboat rafting or something with the white bitch, end up missing, dead. All of them end up dead. And so I don't gotta give y'all no lesson on the whole cookout, the picnic, the word picnic thing. All right, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know where that comes from.
2 months ago, we aired a segment on picnic tips. Later, a viewer sent us an email saying, as a black person, she found the word picnic offensive.
Now, that led to a passionate discussion in our newsroom about whether the word should be used. Local 12 assignment editor Michaela Boyd studied the issue in college. Here's her.
Right, so y'all know the whole history of picnic, so I can skip that, you know. But let me show you them at a young age. Look at this. This is one of the baby ones, you know what I'm saying? because a lot of y'all try to be like, oh, well, this person is black just because you can, you know what I'm saying, think you can mess with somebody else like they not a mulatto, you know what I'm saying, they're not black, you know what I'm saying, it is what it is. And a lot of them, you like, this is the one that makes living off of it. Jane Elliott is no different from any other one, but you try to make differences out of it. Like, it could be a Hispanic white bitch, they all white bitches, you know what I'm saying, it don't matter. This is a baby one talking about a little black girl, you know.
Wants niggers. Nobody fucking wants no one wants niggers. I'm sorry, you are so fucking dark that you can't fucking. You're so hot. You can't get anybody. You're not. You're no. You're so ruin someone Kendall's life. You can fucking rot in hell. You fucking made them leave. You dark ass nigger. Dark ass chocolate bar. Get the fuck out of here. No, I'm sorry, you fucking can't get anybody because nobody likes niggers. No one likes niggers.
It's like the 10-year-old ones. This is what Jane Elliott is. Jane Elliott when she was 10 years old.
Nobody likes them. No one likes them. Fucking kill yourself right this time. Do it fucking right. Please, cut deep enough. Cut deep enough. This.
Now, a black parent sent this child to school with a bunch of Neanderthals, and she got bullied so bad that she wanted to like commit suicide. And you see this little, you know what I'm saying, this little Neanderthal, you know what I'm saying, little white bitch, you know what I'm saying, making fun of her, you know what I'm saying, laughing about it, you know what I'm saying. And yeah, the parents never told them, but a lot of our parents don't tell us the truth about any of this. A lot of our parents would be like, you know, love is love and all this nonsense. And then a lot of y'all try to go against me when I be like, yo, you need 2 black parents to have a black child. Like, no, like, you know what I'm saying, a one drop rule type thing, you know what I'm saying, like, which is ridiculous because this species right here could never give birth to her over here. You know what I'm saying? A black man can't come from a white dude, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't happen, you know what I'm saying? They're half Homo sapien, you know.
Time or fucking tie the rope higher. Like what the fuck, bro? What the fuck? Fuck yourself. Fucking kill yourself. You made fucking Kendall and Summer leave. Fucking kill yourself. Yeah, my.
This is a baby one, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I don't got them lined up, but I know y'all love these white bitches so much, you know what I'm saying? So y'all probably ain't gonna have nothing to say about them. But it's not just the Jane Elliott type, you know what I'm saying? Because they all the same, you know what I'm saying? Because she mentioned, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you can't say nothing. Damn if I can't say nothing to these white bitches who benefit off of everything, you know what I'm saying?
One thing that we can count on is white women going white women going white women going white women. If you are already familiar with the Crystal Crave and the Starla Soloway beef, you already know what time it is. Buckle up. Let's talk about it. I cannot believe Starla
Again, and that's all she wrote.
lynched Crystal and then tried to gaslight us as if it wasn't recorded. Roll the clip.
Now, on this apps, you know what I'm saying, like these white bitches be trying to tempt black women and black people in general, and they say a lot of stuff to try to get hits and all of this stuff, and especially like the coons who be on there, like, or the clones who be on there, like they keep playing, especially one dude, like, and I would encourage black people to even stop giving them the time, because, and the thing is, she got a black boyfriend, and everybody be like looking at the black boyfriend like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing? Because he's like encouraging her to have like all this beef with like black women. She tried to get a black woman's hairdo because she's trying to imitate and emulate, you know what I'm saying, black women, because it's all a fetish to them. You know what I'm saying? Just like Jane Elliott and the rest of them, you know what I'm saying? No different from Rachel Dolezal, all of that stuff, you know what I'm saying? Sean King, all of that. They all have this kind of fetish, you know what I'm saying, where they try to be that, but they also try to pick with black women and stuff like that. And she tried to get braids, and then her hair got messed up, and she had to cut her hair off and stuff like that. But then she started rapping about lynching a black woman, you know.
Back again, and that's all she wrote. This time I'm coming for your motherfucking throat.
Crystal meth head is on her deathbed, and like I said, I'll paint the town red. I'll hang you by your knees in a tree and feed you ketamine while you plead to be set free. You freak.
I'm sorry, hang you by your what? In a what?
I'll hang you by your knees in a tree and feed.
Then have the nerve to try to gaslight us like she ain't just say that? Like we didn't catch you in 4K?
The reason why I'm making this video is because my diss track had gotten extremely misconstrued. My words, never once did I ever say anything about someone. Never would I ever say anything about someone. That's not something to play about.
Yeah, we definitely don't believe that. But quick question. Diss you?
All right, so
I'm just curious how many more defenses are going to run out.
All right, so you see the tone about it, but you remember this, right? Because I want you to see the business that it is too, right? And they talking about this white bitch who went over there and killed a bunch of babies, you know what I'm saying? But this white bitch is kind of talking about it, and she was like how much she got paid. I kind of wanted to show how much she said she got paid. Listen, I know you try to name specific people, but like I said, you need 2 black parents, you know what I'm saying, to be whatever. And that goes for all of them, you know what I'm saying? Because you try to argue certain things that's not true either, you know what I'm saying? Like the East Indians is not black, you know what I'm saying? They're another mulatto group, but
A docu-series coming out about the white savior complex, about a white missionary who goes to lands where brown and black children are and help them out. That sounds just like my past, and I don't want to talk about that. You might have heard about Renee Bach a couple years ago. Because she ended up in Uganda and taking care of malnourished babies, and about 800 of them passed away. I was also a white savior to a couple of countries, and I want to talk to you about the realities of what mission work is and a little bit of what I think.
See, that's how they got y'all in the first place, you know what I'm saying? They send somebody over there, you know what I'm saying? Y'all think they came with just the guns blazing. It's always been the missionary. You know what I'm saying? They send, you know, that the white bitch, they send the white bitches over there. You know what I'm saying? They send the missionaries over there. They try weapons. If that don't work, they try to send other black people into there. All of this is a business, and they make big money, you know what I'm saying, with this missionary stuff. You know what I mean?
Think about this series coming out.
Like Jane Elliott has made a profit of a lifetime, you know what I'm saying, over a lifetime, speaking about the very issues which we just saw, like she just went right away from, you know.
The difference between me and Renee Bach is that the internet was not accessible when I was looking into all this. And with all the information out there about the harms of missionary work, I don't know how she could not have known how anything would be perceived and how she was internalizing her own saviorism. When you're doing missionary work, and sometimes when you're doing church work, you are doing things outside of your capabilities and any formal training. So when I was in Haiti, a lot of us were working at an orphanage for babies with tuberculosis, giving them medicines and polio drops. I had no medical training, and the person overseeing us was just a male nurse who had built this orphanage. The whole saying in missionary work is that God requires of you to do bigger things than you thought you could ever do. And so there's this kind of, prophetic fulfillment when you're outside of your comfort zone because you feel you're the only one that can do this stuff. And I'll tell you, sometimes you really fucking are, but not in this day and age. Please listen to this woman.
Not in no day and age, you know what I'm saying?
Thing is centering this woman and her experience and giving her the massive platform of a Max docuseries to speak her side. This is the issue I had with the Jeffrey Dahmer thing. This is the issue that I keep having with these types of things being hashed and rehashed in this way.
She says a lot more that is spot on, and I'm going to tag her here. Please use her video as the first step in understanding what is going on. I'm going to say something that is contradictory to what she's saying, but it's also true at the same time. And that is that having and displaying this white woman and centering her is possibly the only way, especially young white people, will watch something and possibly be shamed into not participating in what is $2 to $4 billion industry every year, which is foreign missionary work from church.
$2 to $4 billion industry to send white bitches and white people over there to go run scams over there. They've been, because I was just talking about how they used wars over in Africa to start doing that, and they got a lot of money doing that, and they make a lot of money doing scams doing that. So like, you know, and yeah, they use these white bitches to do all of these scams. You know what I'm saying? No matter what side of the fence that they on, they use every walk of life, no matter what they believe in, no matter what, they put all that aside when it comes to you N words. You know what I'm saying? You heard how quick those white liberals and even people like Bernie Sanders and Jane Elliott is no different. You know what I'm saying? No different from John Brown. You know what I'm saying? I know that we want to hold on to John Brown, but I mean, you probably should have went to a meeting. You would have had to stay in your place in the word when you start talking about making things for black people. Whoa now, for everybody now. And we got to start. We can't piss off the white people too much. But anyway, that's another story. I mean, have y'all ever asked yourselves, like, in the story, why didn't, like, John Brown get killed when everybody else got killed? Right? Because they had a movie about the brother who was there, and nobody knows his name, but they had a movie about him. And the ending of a movie was not true, you know what I'm saying? Because it made it seem like he lived, but he got killed in the shootout. You know what I'm saying? But nobody talks about the brother who was there. You know what I'm saying? But anyway.
Billion-dollar industry every year, which is foreign missionary work from churchgoers. Neither of us have seen this docuseries, but the whole idea that I hope comes out of it is some kind of shame, some kind of, wow, that woman is delusional, and let me check myself. And at the same time, I agree that she should not be centered in a series. So I'm interested to see how this goes. If you don't know about the...
All right, that's enough of this jump. But speaking of Africa, right? Because we talking about white bitches, because I know y'all love them, but I just want you to hear how they feel.
African Americans, the only thing they really have these days that they're gonna drag up is slavery. Because I bet you at least, let's say 70% of all the African Americans living in the States, like I'm guessing now, they don't even know what's...
Look at this Negro like interviewing like this white bitch who had to put on a mask, you know what I'm saying, to even say anything.
These days that they're gonna drag up it's slavery. Because I bet you at least, let's say 70% of all the African Americans living in the States, like I'm guessing now, they don't even know what's going on in Africa right now.
That's true.
Get it? Like they don't know about the resources being looted. They don't know about the coups or whatever.
It's okay. She got a black boyfriend, or she talking to a black dude right now, so it's okay.
Like I swear they have no clue. The only thing they will bring up is slavery, 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 slavery. Like that's my point. They don't even know what's going on in their home countries or whatever you're gonna call it.
Don't you think those people are being manipulated?
No, of course. But then, you know, Google, obviously, you know, do a fact check. Why is it okay for black people to use a word that is seemed so offensive?
You can't use the N-word because
that makes no sense.
Because your people did the persecution.
I say that. I say it all the time. It makes no sense. But she ain't gonna say it to nobody's face. That's why she got a mask on. But
yeah, but I don't want to be blamed for something other people have done.
That's why you shouldn't use the N-word, because
she said, Jane Elliott said, if you say reparations, you can't be around white bitches like this no more. So I know some of y'all might not, some of y'all probably still going to like, I ain't gonna talk about reparations. I can't give up the white bitches for nothing. But I definitely take that exchange, Jane Elliott.
It's a racial slur.
But if it's in a song, can I not sing along with the song?
Look, black people are not the only ones that have racial slurs.
Yeah.
The white do. There's a C word.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to use it now. When African Americans,
Not a
when they use the
word.
N word, I believe it's a sign of protest to remind you that we know our histories, that we've not forgotten. So I believe that's why they put it in their songs. Well, that's why it's common.
Exactly, because it's
for
in
them to
so
say it.
many songs and like they're singing along and hallelujah, it's everything is awesome. I don't know, I feel weird singing a song with this word in it, like the
Yes.
N word. Black people didn't discover basically anything according to the history books I learned. No new territory when it comes to science, math.
On whose account of history are you talking about?
The history books I've been taught with in school.
Written by your
I
people.
can't remember a single black man in those books, honestly.
In those books.
Yeah, I can't remember any.
Let me tell you something. The victors
Yeah.
of history, they write the narrative.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to write history based on their accounts,
Right.
not on the account of Africans.
Y'all crave white.
Yeah.
On the account of.
So yeah, well, yeah, definitely a highly favorite. And yeah, I know a lot of the people in here is not going because it's going to interfere with their love of white bitches. But y'all got to get y'all white bitches the sermon today because y'all going to make it about a whole bunch of other stuff. You know what I'm saying? But it don't matter which culture you're in, which culture we're in. You know what I'm saying? If we think that it's not somehow like whatever, then we are delusional because yeah, I get it. I don't get it. Because we seem to think that somehow, we give white bitches a pass. Even during our best revolution, we gave white bitches a pass. And I think we sleep on how dangerous that they are. And then when we even make statements like, oh, well, biracials can be black, you're saying that these white bitches here, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if it's a white bitch who you think is bad, you know what I'm saying? That's talks like Jane Elliott, you know what I'm saying, that she's not a white nationalist at the end of the day. And that's going to go against whatever you're doing. And you're creating a whole group of children, you know what I'm saying, which is the problem because even with the mulattoes, you know what I'm saying, like that's a whole nother thing in itself, but it's the black parents who are at fault because we give white bitches a pass all day. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real, and a lot of brothers, like, why is he sitting here talking to her? Who is she? And especially when she don't even have nothing on her, who cares what she have to say? But it's the brothers. And when people would think I'll be showing this stuff, they be thinking I'm like going in on other people. It's the weakness that we have, And I know a lot of people is gonna go away now because we talking about precious white bitches. But I want you to see something, right? This white bitch here said that it was black women that taught her how to wash right. And that's the thing, because we always went in and saved them and had this, like Jane Elliott said that, oh yeah, well, it's up to us to forget about the past and say, how can we move forward and how can we not offend you and make you comfortable, white people? You know what I'm saying? And this is something black people been doing, teaching them how to bathe. Stop doing that. You know what I'm saying? If they have the black plague, they have the black plague. So listen to what this white bitch said here.
Because I guess she said it could have been something cultural. And the lady disagreed with
Definitely
her,
cultural.
a fellow white woman. And this is what she had to say, what black women helped her with when it came to hygiene.
I remember being told that I don't need to scrub my legs because the soap runs down my body. I remember being told that I didn't need to shower today because we had swam at the lake. I remember.
Yo, this crazy. She was like, you don't gotta wash your leg. This is stuff they say on the regular. Y'all think I just be playing that stuff? Like, this is like true. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if you don't think you think this is a joke. They really have these issues, and we sit here and make all these excuses, you know what I'm saying? And we down each other, you know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to do a thing about, relationships with black men and black women, but we give everybody else all these passes when they nasty as hell. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all don't want to hear this. I know that, and that's fine, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Y'all gonna have to get y'all wake-up call today.
I remember being told that I didn't need to shower today because we had swam at the lake. I remember being told that shampoo is fine because it runs down, it washes everything. I don't remember being told how to clean my vajayjay. I remember being not the only white girl in the army learning how to wash properly from the black girls. And they laughed a little bit too.
So I mean, you know, they have problems even doing whatever, but you calling them allies and inviting them and thinking they're this and they're that, you know what I'm saying? And then you get stabbed in the back every time, you know what I'm saying? And it's all right if you don't have nothing to say, but I'm gonna keep saying it over and over, and I don't care.
They stood with us and taught us with love. My mother-in-law has taught me more about myself than my actual mother did. I'm not gonna laugh at you because you don't understand the context of these messages. It is listen to black women and protect black women till I die.
Okay.
And so, one more time, I'm sorry, forget it. Y'all already got it anyway.
I don't remember being told how to clean my vajayjay.
Oh man.
Remember being told. I remember being told that I didn't need to shower today because we had swam at the lake. I remember being told that shampoo is fine because it.
Now, see, you go around saving them all the time, and you don't think that they're a different species, you know what I'm saying? And this is because she was like, oh, well, you can't say women. So this is about it. But after black women have taught her this, I want you to see how black women is treated, because they got a problem with this sister here. You know what I'm saying? Because this white woman tried to point it out, and like people try to come at her and stuff like that, you know. I don't know how you feel about this.
Yeah.
Hello, how are you?
How are you? She came in with pretty curls. Now she
Can you please not talk about when I switch up my hair?
I think it's beautiful.
I know, but like as a black person, it's to me it feels like a microaggression. I deal with it all the time at work, and you can make that face. I know. I'm just saying. I'm telling you how it makes me feel. Everyone's different, but personally, if you like theirs, oh, pretty hair. You don't have to like clarify that it was different each and every time because it makes me uncomfortable. I know this. I'm not looking for any excuses. It's just it makes me uncomfortable. Cool.
White people are not allowed to compliment minorities anymore.
Pretty curls. Now she came in.
Can you please not talk about when I switch up my hair?
I think it's beautiful.
I know, but like as a black person, it's to me it feels like a microaggression. I deal with it all the time at work, and you can make that face. I know.
And it's a hard knock life, but that darn white fragility.
If you were really that fucking stupid to where you can't take a compliment from another woman despite her skin color, then you are the fucking problem. 100%. I find all kinds of women beautiful. I don't give a fuck what your skin color is, bitch. I think you're pretty. I don't get it. It's so ignorant to me. And I'm just, this is why I don't fuck with people, because y'all is just so goddamn dumb.
Right, just shut the hell up and stop talking to us. Stop messing with us. That's the thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, they think we like animals in the zoo, and then, you know, like this is the things you get every time, right? When you like, oh, let me go help this person, let me go help that group, let me go help whatever. This is just small cases of each thing, like where you get whatever, you know?
So dumb. You're creating hate. You're creating problems. It's fucking unnecessary. I just don't get it. I do not get it.
White people are not allowed to compliment minorities.
A lot about you, more make someone
Listen to
feel
this.
better about themselves.
Listen to this this mulatto chick here, you know what I'm saying? She's definitely a
According to
mulatto.
her TikTok, she has limited the comments because I guess she was getting dragged, as she should be.
Can you please not talk about when I switch up my hair?
See, and I don't know how this how you feel about that, Shanique, or how favorite if you still there, or any sister, because they like to mess with your hair and stuff like that. So like, and she was like, they basically saying she shouldn't have said don't do that. You know what I'm saying? This is the things you get for teaching them how to take baths and stuff like that, you know?
I know, but
I feel so bad for the woman that she recorded and put on blast to the entire world for simply trying to make someone feel better about themselves. Someone that's naturally shy and struggles a lot with trying to bring myself to compliment someone when I want to. I know complimenting someone takes a lot of courage and confidence. And the fact that you have to nitpick the way she complimented you just says a lot about you more than her. I don't think there was anything wrong with the way she complimented you. Everyone is different, and you can tell that this woman, her compliment was genuine because she actually paid attention to detail, and she wants you to know that she notices that you put effort into your hair, to your beauty. Her entire attitude just gives me Regina George vibes. Like, don't talk to me. You're a peasant. You're not
Don't
worthy to
talk to me.
compliment me. Ew. You can call it boundaries all you want, but at the end of the day, you just come off as rude and a female dog. There are real problems in this world, and trying to bring down someone that is trying to uplift you is probably the least you need to worry about. Like, let's be for real. I really hope you self-reflect and you apologize to this woman because the way you come across is just plain rude. We all know that curly hair takes time, maintenance, and money. And shit, I would appreciate a compliment.
See, that's that Neanderthal side coming out of her. I know y'all ain't gonna listen to that, but you know, you said I had to Spanish it, try to touch her locks, and ask if that was your hair. Gave her a whole body a body roll away from her. Yeah, they think we still in zoos though, you know. Yeah, she goofy as hell. I think one of them was talking about, oh, yeah, if I did that and you said that, I'll beat your ass. Yeah, right. That was like that sister would have whooped her ass if she put her hands on her. And they know that, you know what I'm saying? That's why they try to do it, but you know what I'm saying, that mulatto thing. But also, real quick, you know, just for old white bitches, I showed the young. This is the old white.
L County woman will be spending time behind bars after being found guilty of hanging racist dolls in her yard. WDHN's Robert Smith Jr. joins us live in the newsroom with more. Robert.
Right. Yeah, hey, just cut your hair, you monkey, and we done with it. That's the mentality they have. And y'all see that a lot of them got quiet because it's the precious white bitches that they love so much. And this is an extremely touchy topic. But if we talk about mulattoes, right? How you think they get to be here? You know what I'm saying? Because y'all tripping. You know what I'm saying? Y'all let Jane Elliott in the thing. You could talk about her all you want to now, right? You could talk about all the, but who's letting her in the cookout? You know what I'm saying? Who's making excuses talking about, oh, mulatto people can be black and all this nonsense? Is not true, because they call white people black and then they'll be like, I'm not black, but they are. They'll be like, oh, Dominicans say they not black, which is true. I was going to talk about that too, but you also say you're not black, so how could you say that? You know what I'm saying? It's the mentality, it's the anti-blackness worldwide, and we are so thirsty for compliments and reassurance that we would just accept anybody, and it's easy for the people like Jane Elliott to come in and scam us, you know what I'm saying? But this is the true nature. If you don't think Jane Elliott is different from this white bitch here, then I don't know what you was just listening to.
The Chancellor resident Cheryl Pileski, who went viral across the Wiregrass and state for this incident, will spend a year behind bars at the Alabama Department of Corrections.
4 years since pictures of racist dolls in an Ozark neighborhood went viral on social media, the 64-year-old woman who admitted to hanging the dolls in her yard, Cheryl Pileski, will spend the next year in a federal prison. She was sentenced by the Department of Justice after pleading guilty to a Fair Housing Act criminal violation in March of this year. The pictures of the racist dolls garnered a lot of attention on Facebook in 2019. The picture of the doll.
Right, so you see that's your neighbors and stuff like that. And also, you know, look at this to this dude. He kept stalking his sister, and this is why you should be armed and ready to protect yourself, because it's not just the white bitches. You know what I'm saying? Because Jane Elliott said you don't want to make these kind of people mad at you, so you don't want to talk about any of this nonsense. Like, they're not still doing it. So, you know, check this out. You know, be protect yourself.
I'll fucking rape your daughter, bitch.
Talking about I'll rape your daughter. I heard somebody say, you know, we talk about the trauma that be passed down or whatever mentality be passed down with ours. If you don't think that this mentality is passed down with all of these people who we think that we love or who we think is our friends or our allies, and every group that we name and we try to escape blackness with, they just stabbed you in the back 100 times already. And maybe white bitches is most touchy because y'all like to call mulatto people black, but you know it's just the truth. You know what I'm saying? And it's still the same mentality that they walk around talking about. I'm gonna rape your daughter. You know what I'm saying? And it takes brothers to come around to make sure that don't happen. But that's why I wanted to talk about something else, but I ain't gonna do it. But
Call the cops, bitch. I'm about to get murdered.
talking about he about to get murdered. She should smoke his ass. I fear for my life.
Nigger bitch.
It's the one who said Jane Elliott don't want you to piss off, right? Talking about reparations. This is who you got to be worried about because they walking around talking about you will not replace us, and they talking about her. If she is a shyster, they talking about her ass. But it's at the end of the day, they understand whiteness is over everything, and we don't.
Nigger bitch. That's enslavement.
This crazy ass white boy. Now, if he even up killing this girl or her daughter.
I'm about to get murdered.
Now, it's a sick obsession that I don't think that y'all will appreciate until y'all actually listen to them. It's a sick obsession that they have where they always like they could be talking about any subject in the world and they'll just say some like what we would call racist stuff out the blue, like oh blah blah blah, like oh yeah, like N words, like they could be talking about dogs or something, like you know how kennels treat dogs, and they'll be like oh yeah, I'll get my dog black people, and then somebody will say oh yeah, well your dog knows criminals, and they'll just laugh. It's a sick obsession that they have throughout the history of this country. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if Jane Elliott knows that. Yeah, he knew she was defenseless, you know, and they only pick on defenseless targets, you know. That's why they go out their way to keep us in this position as defenseless people and to let our guards down, you know what I'm saying? And they make a lot of money off of that, you know. I guess I'll play it. I guess I shouldn't, but oh man. Because this is the problem here that we're going to keep running into, you know what I'm saying? Because this is the excuse why a lot of y'all argue with me and make excuses because y'all want to like make excuses for dating white bitches, and then we get like stabbed in the back still, you know what I'm saying? And this is a topic that a lot of us ain't going to address.
Kamala Harris, for example.
It is almost over. If you want to say something, you can let me know. I'll put the link in the chat.
She's a black woman, essentially. So that's really impressive, too. When I see a black man dating a white chick, it's like, damn, that's impressive. When I see a white man dating a black chick, and this is already starting to sound a little bit misogynistic because we're sort of treating women like they're trophies when they're actually people. But Kamala Harris, for example, she's a black woman, essentially. So that's really impressive, too. When I see
now, Kamala Harris, a black woman, I don't know about that. But the brothers who make excuses, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to play this, right?
If you've not done that already, and let's get into it.
Take your good name. Oh, they're going to collect. When it's over, when the party's over.
Yeah, my bad, y'all. I guess I probably shouldn't play this, but a lot of them went away, y'all, and this is probably why. Because, like I said, they're the most dangerous one, you know.
Is coming to collect. She's going to collect money, or she's going to collect your name. You're going to pay for swimming in that yogurt.
Because I mentioned that she brought up, Joe Biden has the anti-marriage, interracial marriage bill that came out, which has something to do with the gay thing, you know what I'm saying? They just put black with it, you know what I'm saying, to pass agendas, you know what I'm saying? But he's saying he want that overturned.
That curd, that yogurt curd, that vanilla yogurt, and you're going to pay for it. Bill Cosby, I'm riding with you on this one, brother. Bill Cosby, I'm riding. Ask the FBI to do an investigation into Bill Cosby. Why didn't they call J. Edgar Hoover? He didn't retire until 72. He didn't retire until 72. Why didn't they get J. Edgar Hoover on Bill Cosby? He would have done the investigation with honor. He would have been honored. That racist, cross-dressing devil, he would have been honored to investigate Bill Cosby.
Omar's policy for an interracial.
Now, this brother is mad. This is what a lot of y'all sound like when, like, y'all, I know y'all want to get into this discussion, but African vanilla, there's no such thing that exists. But yeah, it's disgusting.
The black man should only marry the black woman, then I wouldn't exist. Let's look at Dr. Omar's policy for an interracial marriage ban. So essentially, you want a state where the state regulates who the black man marries. So within the black nation, the government should regulate who the black man marries. What kind of political ideology is that? That is socialist totalitarianism. So essentially far left totalitarianism. In socialist China, you see a similar policy where the state regulates that the family can only have one child. So Dr. Omar is proposing a policy that constitutes a major violation of the individual freedom of the black man and the black woman. African people...
Now, the thing is, bro, like, you cannot, I don't care what you say or who you try to say, you cannot have black children without a black. I say you got to have 3 out of 4. And we're going to get into this mulatto thing because I've been just watching too much of it not to even talk about it. But listen, it takes 2 black people to have, but we make all these excuses because you know why? We're going to be like, oh, well, you know, we make an exception for the rule for white bitches, you know what I'm saying? Or any other kind of bitch, you know what I'm saying? All of them, you know what I'm saying? But this brother is mad about this.
In the West have freedom to marry whoever they want right now in the West. Why would African people leave that and join a black socialist totalitarian state where people like Dr. Omar regulates the family? Number 2, if you look at the African continent, there's no such thing as an interracial marriage because African people don't think in terms of race. Continental Africans like Fulani marry based on lineage and religion. Therefore, one is not eligible to marry a Fulani woman or a Wolof woman for that matter just because one identifies them as black. These marriage traditions are 10,000 years old. Let me get this straight. Dr. Umar, Mr. African, wants to remove Fulani identity, Wolof identity, Yoruba identity, Igbo.
Now, if he's saying they married each other, that means they married other black people, right? He said it's been going on 10,000 years before they have even been on the earth. But he's mad that they're talking about an interracial man because he don't want to be limited. And see, he's backwards in what he's saying with his defense, you know. But this is how some of y'all be sounding when y'all be making these arguments.
Identity change the way continental Africans see themselves, identify themselves, how they marry, and how they see marriage based on their 10,000-year ancient African cultures, and impose on them a race-based way of marrying. When race is a colonial ideology that comes from the West to oppress African people. If Dr. Umar wants to be so African, should he not then learn how African people actually marry based on the 10,000-year ancient culture? Number 3, black and white in America is not completely applicable to Afro-Europeans because most people in their neighborhood who are
Now y'all say that all the time, bro, but you know who the safest person in the hood in Chicago and in Nigeria is? A white bitch, a white missionary. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that is exactly. Like, see, he going against it. See, if you marry a German bitch, then it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Or Italian because, oh yeah, she's black, by the way. All these is excuses that y'all be making to sneak them in. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like a pig is, you know. But he's saying that because I heard a lot of people say, "Oh, this race thing is just American." And this is another thing with the mulatto argument because he brought about Dominican Republic. See, I was going to show that one too, where the president of Dominican Republic was asked about colorism, and he was like, "Oh, well, most of us are mixed race. Most of us are mulatto, and we never had a problem with colorism." And he was arguing with the girl. And you know, they was telling her to be respectful and stuff, but she was talking about how black people in the Dominican Republic, like the Haitians, who, especially the pregnant women who are black, how they're treated in the Dominican Republic. Because we like to act like it's just a thing. See, they'd be like, "Well, I'm Spanish," but if they go to Spain, we all know how they'll get treated. But they'd be like, "I'm not black, I'm this." You know what I'm saying? It's no different from saying I'm not black, I'm this. You know what I'm saying? Whatever tribe it has been. That's how we got conquered, you know what I'm saying? But anyway.
Discriminated here in Europe are actually brown people from the Middle East, North Africa, also Asia.
Well, because there was a lot of rape going on over there, you know what I'm saying? And the mixed populations breed it with the other mixed populations for generations because they had this better the race kind of mentality, you know what I'm saying? So where the mulatto people and because they even separating the island, you know, Haiti was from the French and that Dominican Republic was from the Spanish or you know what I'm saying, whatever. And a lot of the mulattoes in the class, like of course the people who were closer to white and the children was put in positions of authority. So like over time the mulattoes just made it with other mulattoes and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Puerto Rican is a place where there's a bunch of mixed people, you know what I'm saying? And Dominican is a place. There's black people in the Dominican, but the president was saying, "Oh well, all of us like 85%," and she was like, "No, if I ask the black people in Dominican Republic, you know what I'm saying, they'll tell me it's definitely colorism. Of course, it's colorism. You know what I'm saying? It's just that the mulatto population, and this is the whole conversation with the mulatto population. You know what I'm saying?" Like and how dangerous it is, you know what I'm saying? That's why I even talk about it. And to make excuses to act like, you know what I'm saying, they are black is disrespectful because it takes two black people. It takes a black man and a black woman, you know what I'm saying? And we try to make it complicated because they raped us, you know what I'm saying? That's rape, you know what I'm saying? If I got anybody that's white in my whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm against them too, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, they are just like them. They probably rapists, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they think they're marrying up. You know what I'm saying? Like all of them have this better the race kind of mentality. You know what I'm saying? That's why we know them as light-skinned people. But it's a place, Puerto Rico, you know what I'm saying? It means port or whatever the hell it means. Y'all know what it means. It's a place where black people are, but there's a lot of mulattoes there, and there become a culture of a mulatto people, you know what I'm saying, who especially try to get away from blackness. And that's why this white looking president, you know what I'm saying, is sitting there telling the black Dominican person that there's no such thing as colorism because most of us are mulattoes, you know what I'm saying? But
like Pakistan. Yes, you have Africans like Nigerians and so on, but most people would be immigrants coming to the hood, living in low-income neighborhoods, interacting together with one another. So you would have black and brown of different complexion. Black woman, what does that mean? Is that a Latina woman? Is that a Middle Eastern woman? Is that a...
See, all of a sudden when it comes to like when we talking about black families, because y'all be like, oh, we need to do this, we need to pull ourselves. Well, when we talk about a black family, what is black now? Because y'all get so complicated. Is it Latino? Is it this? Is it that? It may ask these questions. You see what I'm playing this video because some of y'all asking this question now, right? It's just an excuse so you can practice. I don't know the first word, but better in la raza. You know what I'm saying? Better in the race. Yeah, it's a very, you know what I'm saying? It's just yeah, like Calderon. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And you wonder why, but they'll be like, there's no race thing, like, because the point is they'd be like, this race thing is just an American issue, but it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. And at this point, they're a mulatto group of people, you know what I'm saying? It don't mean all of them are mulattoes, but like I said, you know, most of them are, you know, at this point, and the black people that are there get treated the same. We're at the bottom in every society, and we just don't recognize that. You know what I'm saying?
A Pakistani woman, it becomes very, very, very absurd to try to project black and white in a European context. Here, the discrimination issues are class-based, not necessarily race-based, although race is a part of the class issue. Conclusion, when you break down Dr. Umar's no interracial marriage policy suggestion, you actually see it's not thought through at all. And I conclude Dr. Umar is not serious. He's doing it for selfish reasons to appeal to the African-American woman and get more support that way. The black man should only marry the black woman.
Who's to say you wouldn't exist?
So, right, yeah, he would probably we existed for a long time. You know what I'm saying? I gotta play this one, right? Because this sums all of it up. You know what I'm saying? You have the white bitch, the Jane Elliott bitch. You have the brother here. You have the white wife, you know what I'm saying? With what y'all would call black children. Y'all telling me that she could give birth to a black daughter or a black son, right? Or a white dude could give the sperm to have a black man and raise and grow a black man. How is that possible? You know what I'm saying? And I blame the parents, not necessarily the children. You know what I'm saying? Because we let them come into our tribe. That's how Jane Elliott and them can infiltrate us easy, because we just look for damn excuses not to be black. What is black? You know what I'm saying? They tell it when you start saying, oh, don't mess with white girl. Well, what is black? We all black. You know what I'm saying? What about the East Indians? They black, ain't it? Hell no, they not. You know what I'm saying?
And white. And so this clip right here is just another one of those women that
So, you know, he got to justify his reasoning here. I guess he might as well make money off of messing with white bitches.
thinks that she knows everything.
When I think, and when we should start to talk about the upper middle class white woman and how she preys on the
Oh yeah, and it's almost over. If you want to come on here, just let me know. I'll put the link in the chat.
disenfranchised black man, disenfranchised being that who is without privilege. And I'm not really sure, like, where do they meet? At work? College? I'm not really sure about that aspect, but none of this is poverty.
Since she has, honestly, as you listen to it, probably has been a part of the black experience. I would say probably not a part of the black experience, but probably has had the black experience put in her a couple times.
I didn't peg her for that either.
I pegged her for that because I've seen women like this before. I actually grew up around women like this.
I didn't think,
go ahead.
I didn't think she was straight.
No, she's straight. She's straight a dumbass. I've seen this quite a bit. If you've ever played sports or been around sports, you've seen these women around sports. They were athletic trainers a lot of times, or they hung out with the ball teams, and they got passed around like a frisbee.
What I did notice in my comment section is that a lot of Black men were defending their interracial relationships and letting me know I'm a racist and I'm uneducated and the world has evolved. Here's my favorite. It's nobody's business who we date. Why should it matter? There are bigger things to worry about in the world. I mean, if you close your mind. And I didn't say Black men were writing these comments, you'd literally think you were listening to white women talk. Because that's what I hear out of white women every single time they try to defend their interracial relationships.
So what she's speaking to right now is not what they call, or what people want to call, the stereotypical Black man. What she's talking about is middle class, upper class couples and people that are married that happen to be in interracial relationships. Now, the thing that always kind of puzzles me is that there's only one dynamic of the interracial relationship that's always focused on. It's the Black man with the white woman. There's no other type of interracial relationships that are talked about. Since it just rubs a nerve a lot of times, is that evidently a lot of people want Black men to stay in their place. A lot of Black people want Black men to stay, quote unquote, in their place. A lot of white women want Black men to stay, quote unquote, in their place. And I'm pretty sure white men do too, but they just can't say it. What I will say is that this is a small percentage nowadays. This is not one of those large percentages like it was, I would say, probably 50 years ago, because people's mindsets have evolved. Unfortunately, evolution is proving itself because some of the stragglers are still left behind.
On sale. Or they're making wedding invitations in cotton fields with their Black fiancés in shackles. Or I think there was another trend about how many beautiful golden brown skinned babies you can have with a dark skinned man. But I was drinking during that time, so I could be off in the details just a little bit.
The fact that she said she was drinking actually explains quite a bit, because here's the thing. When you first...
I know, Dwayne, you come up all the time, but and it's not the mulatto children who's at fault. It's the parents and the people who sit there and argue all the time about with me. Like when I be talking about white bitches or they don't want to hear it or none of that stuff, you know what I'm saying? You always pop up when we talk about mulattoes, you know what I'm saying? But the unfortunate truth, well, it's not unfortunate. The fortunate truth is it takes two Black parents, you know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day. And then you will see a lot of brothers like this, you know what I'm saying, who is going to fight for it, you know what I'm saying? Because this is the mentality. And you telling me that either one of them can give birth to a Black child, but y'all will call them Black, you know what I'm saying? It's just crazy.
Challenges. I dare to say very, very few.
I think it's sexual gratification that gets white women in the door. I call it the mandingo fetish, that black snake moan. Y'all don't like these terminologies, and I don't give a fuck. This is how people think.
The other thing, which is another clue about your past life, which actually kind of comes out, is that how would you know what that was? Like, how would you know what that was unless you've actually been smacked in the face with quite a few? I mean, life smacks you in the face, and the thing is,
because like I told you, when you be like patriarchy, y'all assume like white bitches have raped Black men. I'll bet money on that. Have raped Black men more so than the other way around. And it's Black men that be docile, and you know, and you would be like, that's why you be like, oh, my child is Black. Why the child ain't fuck white or Asian or whatever they are? You know what I'm saying? They're half of whatever. And it starts with you, you know what I'm saying? And you give the white bitch the most pass. You give other bitches the passes, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes to Black women, you know, it's a problem, and we got to fight all the time for it. You know what I'm saying? And Jane Elliott talking about we can't mention this. And so we'll give up the hope of reparations just so we can, you know what I'm saying, to have this dream accomplished. A lot of us, you know what I'm saying? That's why y'all argue with me all the time.
Is that once you wake up to reality, you're like, maybe I shouldn't have been smacked in the face so many times before it actually kind of clicked to me. And so in order to be smacked in the face with something, yes, it has to be quite large. So the thing that you now are speaking against is what you...
Oh, so if a white bitch have good intentions, she could give birth to a Black person? I don't think so, bro. You cannot minimize what it takes to have a black family, or minimize the importance of a black man and a black woman together. You take a black man out the home, we see what happens. You take a black woman out the home, there is no family. What are you talking about? It takes a black man and a black woman. Can't build a black community, and I don't blame the children of this, you know what I'm saying? But when you talk about love is love, you know what I'm saying? You're going to hear Jane Elliott talking about we all one race, and I'm pretty sure you're going to agree with that. We're all the human race, you know what I'm saying? Which is false, you know what I'm saying? Because a human is a species. But this is the whole dark alley that people don't want to go into when it comes to all of this nonsense that people be saying. You know why? Because the fetish for non-black people, that you try to be like, oh, well, you're black, one drop rule. And you see, like, I showed one with his brother, he was messing, and now his granddaughter looked like a Mexican chick. But you can see it with like Patrick Mahomes, his granddaddy, the granddaddy is black man, and the daughter is or grandchild is a white person. You know what I'm saying? I guess Drake, or a bunch of cases where the grandchildren are straight white people, and y'all talking about one drop rule, because all this stuff totally assimilated. There is no such, exactly, you know what I'm saying?
You craved when you were younger. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the thing is, just because you made mistakes in your life doesn't mean that you have to express those mistakes. And
It's terrible.
Black men speak like the white women they're with now in America. And I'm going to be real honest, I didn't realize so many black men were only dating white women or non-black women, but I'm not going to go into that in this video here. And now you're talking like that.
Which is not true. Like most black men are dating black women. You know what I'm saying? It's not true. What she's, she's still a white bitch too. She's Jane Elliott. She lied just like her. It's just how confusing it gets. You know what I'm saying? And then when we try to be like, make the excuses that we got to justify, now we get real lost in the sauce. It's like I try to tell you, it's like when you two different species and try to live in the same environment, it just don't work. That's why I don't understand why we think anybody, no matter where they're from, what they do, what they believe in, or how much money they have, you know what I'm saying, what sexual thing they do, is our friend. We have no friends.
I didn't realize that there was only one way that black people spoke.
Yes.
It actually brings up another clue about your past life. This is a sign of that you grew up lower and not even middle class. And there's nothing wrong with that. The black experience is not just a lower class experience. And basically you're trying to say that all black people, because they speak a certain way, are lower class. And that's not the truth. As you move throughout society, you start to hang out with people that you have more in common with. And
now, see, this is the thing. It's like, it's not lower class, right? Because a lot of people be like talking white. That's nonsense. It's not about sounding educated or whatever you want to say. It's talking without a rhythm. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's talking white. Like, like, think about like when Richard Pryor imitate like a white voice. You know what I'm saying? He's not saying big words. It's just talking like without a rhythm. It's just a bland way of talking. Like, everything they do is bland, and it's like your identity has been stripped. So now you make all kind of excuses in the world. You know what I'm saying?
Events and the PTO and all of the people commenting in my comment section are predominantly upper middle class. So when I go to their Facebook pages and I see that they live these upper middle class lives, I'm really understanding.
Is the barrier to entry is to be white, to be in some of these so-called groups as you're saying. I'm pretty sure that you couldn't get into them. Sometimes things come down to class. So after you make a certain amount of money.
See, I heard on the beginning, Cornell West thought it was about class too, until that white boy told him, no, Negro, you can't be talking about no class stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, all that cloning that we be doing don't get us nowhere, but like in the same space over and over.
It comes down to the money you.
But all right, I forget this one. All right, I'm gonna go to, that was it. You know what I'm saying? This is the last one. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna stop there. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Let me see. Now, one of the things that we is gonna have to talk about is, and I'm gonna talk about this soon, because like I said, I was just talking about this dude who was 1/4 black, but he called himself black, and he did stuff in the civil rights movement, quote unquote, fighting for white people. You know, have I ever seek to find anything that we have done to them in our story? Yeah, you know, I try to show it all the time as much as I can. You know what I'm saying? Um, but this is what I'm trying to say, like, you know, because we try to make excuses and all of this stuff, you know what I'm saying, like, while we can accept them, like, I'm talking about, like, right now, like, it's okay to, like, identify yourself, to draw the line, not let anybody into your circle, and to stand for you and yours and your own people, you know what I'm saying? And that's okay, and we don't have to do that, you know? And it takes two black people to have two black parents, because, like, you know, I always show this, you know, stuff, especially with the white bitches, because people is scared to talk about it, you know what I'm saying? But we really have to talk about it, because even during our most greatest revolution, we gave white bitches a pass every single time. Like, we got to stop doing this. And this whole intersectional stuff, we find all kind of reasons why we aren't in the same boat around the world. You know what I'm saying? It's because, oh, I'm a woman first, I'm a man first, I'm a Christian first, I'm a Bible believer first, I'm a, you know what I'm saying, whatever it is, you know, I'm an American first, I'm a Puerto Rican, I'm a Dominican, you know, we never stop to think about the truth, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, yeah, we have done plenty of things. This is what I'm trying to show us, you know, but at the same time, like, we have to understand, like, where we are right now too, you know what I'm saying? And we don't want the trauma and the disgusting behavior that we have right now to get passed down to another generation, you know what I'm saying? Yo, and that's the thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all be saying that, but empathy only goes so far, and that even includes, like, yo, anybody who is not black. This is why I blame the parents when it comes to, like, you know, the biracial thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, we sitting here talking about why everybody is black and people of color, because it's like outside of, like, Raw, Cassandra, you know what I'm saying, Shanique, you know what I'm saying, other people that be coming over here, we make excuses and we say people of color and black and brown and white ally. People really believe this and think that we are the extreme ones, when really we will never be saved if not the other way around. And somehow we got to get control of our children's minds, and you know what I'm saying, whatever. You want the link? I don't know, man, because I'm about to get off of here, bro. I'll sing you. I'm about to get off of here, man. Because at the end of the day, you whatever. I know, because you go try to bring up other people that ain't got nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to talk about other people. And then Dwayne probably gonna come up here, and then I'm gonna have to explain to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I've been on here for 2.5 hours, so I'm gonna have to do it next time. We're gonna talk about the mulatto thing soon. You know what I'm saying? And I'm also have the Black History thing soon. You know what I'm saying? But it's important that we understand, like, the truth, you know what I'm saying? And that's the thing, we're all like we have allowed some weak behavior. That's why we in the situation that we in, because we continue to make the same things, you know what I'm saying? All right. So I'm about to get out of here, right? And I'm gonna let Khalid Muhammad have the last words. Nah, it ain't no debate. I told you, I don't be debating this kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is, bro. Like, it ain't no debate. You know what I'm saying? And people want to take it personal, they can. It don't have nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? It has to do with what we got.
The special arrangement here tonight that would make this an evening where you can exercise the lies that you're used to getting away with. Exercise the lies that you're used to getting away with telling everywhere you go, but you didn't get away with them here tonight. You won't pull that small time stuff over on us. Khalid Muhammad wants a revolution. You damn right I want a revolution. I'm a revolutionary, fool. I believe, black man and woman, whatever you do, you should be a revolutionary. If you are a teacher, be a revolutionary teacher. If you're a student, be a revolutionary student. If you're a grandmother, a grandfather, be a revolutionary grandmother, or grandfather. If you're a father, be a revolutionary father. If you're a mother, be a revolutionary mother. Fight this bastard. Teach your babies to be revolutionary babies, even if they can't do nothing but fight this cracker with the baby bottle. Teach your babies to fight this bastard with the baby bottle. Be a revolutionary no matter what you do. Don't let this cracker come here and try to teach you how to be a revolutionary. Revolution means complete constructive change. This cracker don't want no complete constructive change. Revolution starts here and goes all the way around 360. The Bible puts it this way: as it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. In the beginning you ruled, black man and woman. In the beginning it was your monetary system. In the beginning it was your economic system. It was your system of government and jurisprudence. It was your academic system. It was your social order. But now a cracker wants you to accept one group of crackers over another group of crackers, and you never get back to your original godlike self. No good, black man. No good, black woman. I'm a revolutionary. If you're a rapper, be a revolutionary rapper. Rap revolutionary rap and liberation lyrics. If you write movies, be a revolutionary movie maker. Make movies that move and motivate the movement. Make some movies where we kill white folks in the movie so that we can understand our possibilities. The cracker will give you money if you are shooting your brother in the head with your Glock. If you're blowing your brother's brains out and blowing it all over the wall, boys in the hood, huh? Yeah. Menace to society. And if you question him about making movies killing black people, black on black, he says, after all, it's just a movie. Let's make some movies where we kill white folks. Be a revolutionary actor, a revolutionary musician, a revolutionary artist. I love Sankofa. How many love Sankofa? But there's one thing about Sankofa I did not like. We saw them abuse us and misuse.
All right, yeah, it's not about whether they disagree or not, you know what I'm saying? That's irrelevant. Like, it don't matter what anybody says, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's, you know what I'm saying? And it's disrespectful. That's why I wouldn't even debate it, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to have a black man and a black woman to have a black child at the end of the day, and all this intersectional stuff, you know what I'm saying? Y'all can miss me with it because it's just a bunch of BS, you know what I'm saying? And whatever you do, you're going to have to be a revolutionary at it, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, man, I appreciate y'all for listening, you know what I'm saying? And for y'all for coming through. And as always, man, we have got to start standing for something, or we're going to keep falling for anything.